Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Welcome. Saturday morning. You know what time it is. It is I. It is him. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, I am here. It's Righteous Reg. What's going on this morning?
Your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. I'm going to start adding in your favorite pro wrestling commentator. Soon enough, I'll have to figure out the logistics of it. But it's Media Man. It's Saturday morning. It's Grapsody Podcast. I'm here with my homeboy, Philip Lindsey. What's up to everybody out there? Appreciate you guys joining us every Saturday. And what's up with you, Philip Lindsey? How's your morning?
Yeah, when I just went back to the timeline to share the link, I saw the news that Chris Paul will be retiring. This is his last season. He is going to retire at LA Clipper. I think that's pretty fitting.
Okay. CP, he's finally doing it. I thought he's been retired for like 4 seasons for me, but like, you know, life is life, I guess. It'll be funny to look back on his career in totality when it's all said and done, because he's been a polarizing figure in basketball. Some people either love Chris Paul, they go to war for him, or hate. It's a lot of hate. I see a lot of slander when the homie is involved in something. And I think he played his role for most of his career. And I don't know why people are so upset at him, but I do also understand.
Never been a big fan, but you know, yeah, never been a big fan, but it is what it is. I felt a little vindicated when I saw that because I had a debate with somebody after he went to the Phoenix Suns and he finally made it to the NBA Finals. I was like, yeah, this guy, I don't see it. I don't see it ever happening. I know a lot of people wanted him to win the championship. I just didn't see it. And people were like, nah, I bet he wins the championship before Jimmy Butler. And I was like, sure.
Yeah, I don't think they're sure.
Yeah, now it's looking like that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I think he had some opportunities. There were definitely some times there where he was in the mix to get a ring and to be that person, but no, it's this is it. Ending in LA is fitting. There was some LA controversy he was involved in for a bit there, trying to get to the Lakers for some time. But yeah, shout out to CP3, man. He people look back on his career and his numbers, I think, fondly, more than while he was playing, I feel.
Yeah, no, I think he's gonna have, you know, people are gonna look back fondly on his career for other reasons other than winning a championship. I remember that debate at one point because I was like, yeah, I don't think this guy's a top 5 all-time point guard, and people were like, but he is, and I was like,
good luck. He's been surpassed in a couple of different facets since I'm sure you had that even debate, it feels.
yeah, I don't think that take his age very well, but yeah, I guess.
Shout out to the homie CP3, though. I hope I'm sure we'll see him as an analyst or something somewhere. That's where all the basketball players go, or as a podcaster, because that's what life is at this point.
I think there's a very good chance he could end up coaching.
That's true. Yeah. He does have that. He's always had that energy in him, like that leadership energy.
Yeah, I know that. I think it was current Lakers coach JJ Redick, also a teammate at one point on the Clippers. I know he talked about giving CP some advice on post NBA career a few times. So yeah, I could see him either doing the NBA an analyst thing. He's got a few options with Amazon, NBC, ESPN, but I do think there's a very good chance he could coach.
Yeah, I think with the landscape of coaching in the NBA, definitely could see him fitting in somewhere. Some teams be calling anybody and everybody when it's coach time, and I could definitely see CP3 rising through the ranks pretty quickly out there in the NBA. Shout out to him. What's up with these weird ass courts, Phil? Like I turned on a game and I was like, my eyes are hurting. Like who colored the court with crayons or something? Like my eyes couldn't take this NBA Cup shenanigans they got going on.
Yeah, they're doing these special courts for the NBA Cup. I don't know, trying to do something different. I am foreseeing the day we're gonna get like those like animated courts with like the stuff on it and like
yeah, definitely. See, the real thing will be when they start to add like it'll become like rock and jock for a couple of games. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get 50 points if you hit from far away. You get 13 if you do this. If you shoot at the really high basket, you get 100 points. That's the one thing that's going to happen. But this thing seems very silly. I understand trying to keep up with the times and kids and appeal, but like sometimes when it works, it works. It's a fucking basketball court, and we all know the history, and we just want to see the basketball players ball out. We don't need to have our eyes freaked with.
I don't know what kind of games you're watching, but I don't know. Yeah, kind of I don't want to say a slow news week for wrestling.
Yeah,
it wasn't that much wrestling news. I mean, like even when I was looking at stuff for topics, I was like, "What happened on Raw?" I watched it. I don't necessarily remember, but yeah, I watched it. I was just like, I don't remember a whole heck of a lot to happen.
My brain could only go to the Cena stuff. Like that's kind of like prominent. The tournament that's happening out there feels like a lot of people are talking about the War Game stuff. They're saying that Cody kind of brought it home for people last night, but still, even it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like there's a lot of heat behind any of the War Game matches. Honestly, I think they'll be good, but it's just like, again, we got to November and they started throwing it together.
Yeah, they've kind of rushed into both the War Games.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the midst of this tournament, like you said. The big news last night: Carmelo Hayes did pick up the win over Bronson Reed. I assumed he was gonna lose, but you know, as a lead in to this War Games match, the baby faces helped him defeat Bronson in the Vision last night. He won via countout, which was, you know, could have just gave him the win via pin, but you know, he won via countout. That was interesting. I didn't watch SmackDown. I wasn't at home last night, but I did see that he won. I did see some of the other stuff from SmackDown. I did see they did another one of those like cinematic segments between Rhea and Charlotte, similar to the Roman and Cody cinematic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other news in the tournament, unfortunately, Sheamus is not cleared to wrestle, so Sheamus is going to need a replacement soon. Coming into the tournament, Sheamus had like one of the more interesting storylines because he's never won the IC championship. He's also got a little bit of history with Cena. So yeah, I don't know. It should be interesting to see who's going to replace him. Not sure.
Yeah, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. The Carmelo Hayes thing is super interesting because I think the fact that he's going against Gunther the next round was like, I'm like, okay, they could maybe tell the story that a lot of people thought they were going to tell with Javon of like, there's this crazy upset. But I'm like, no, I don't really think that's going to be the vibe here. I think Gunther's going to do probably about the same amount of damage as he did to Javon. Interesting that he got two young Fly brothers back to back in his little tournament thing on his way up to possibly beating John Cena. I see that they released the full brackets now, so it's a little bit more expanded. It feels like people were kind of in the dark for a lot of what was going on there. Now they're just kind of getting down to the nitty gritty. Where are you landed, Phil? Are you still with, is Gunther your pick too?
Yeah, I think with all of the people that are in the bracket so far, it seems like it's going to be Gunther. I don't know why anybody would think Javon Evans was going to win that match. It was pretty obvious that Gunther was going to beat him. I thought it was a really great showing from Javon. Every time they bring him up to the main roster, he looks great. He has he really won that crowd over in Madison Square Garden. What a moment for him. But Gunther silenced that crowd like we knew he was going to. Very happy we're back to Gunther's old theme music as well. It just fits him better. But yeah, I think Gunther's winning. I tweeted at one point, and some people were very not happy with me, or they started condescending to me like people on Twitter do. Because I was like, I don't understand why Braun Breaker's not in this tournament. Like, out of anybody that's like a newer guy, a younger guy that would benefit the most from retiring John Cena, it would be Braun Breaker, right? And really, since he put Seth on the shelf, they've really not done anything to move forward with him. He's kind of regressed as a character. He's back to being a background player.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why he's not in this tournament. And, I got the usual, well, he's not going to win. Hey, guess what? If you put him in the tournament, why can't he just win? I don't know. And, oh, well, John Cena's not the champion. Hey, thanks, genius. I know he's not the champion. I watch the show like you do. Like,
that was my favorite argument of it. Well, he's not going to win. I'm like, same with you, Phil. What if he won, though? Like, what do you mean he's not going to win? Why are we booking him to immediately be knocked out of the tournament? There's some people that are in the tournament that he could have replaced that I feel like he would have represented better for what they're trying to put out with this tournament. But I mean, some things are too silly for people. This guy should be the future of the company. We keep talking about that with Javon and Leon Slater and all these people. Braun Breaker, the same thing. Everybody keeps being like the future, the future, the future. But what about now? I feel like every time he has a star making moment or something, everybody's like, yes, we love Braun Breaker. Let's do this.
Yeah, that was very baffling to see people continue to be obtuse about what I meant and go, well, he's not going to win it, so why do you even want him? You just want him in the tournament to lose. No, I think he can win this tournament. And it's like, well, it was kind of the same that I said before when they were like, well, we can't put the championship on him at Saturday Night Main Event because we don't want to risk him getting cheered. Hey, man, you write this TV show. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. You can create stories as to why this guy winning would be a heel thing and getting booed. I don't know. Like, I think this made perfect sense to go into this tournament of him being a guy that was already IC champion. And even if Sheamus was still in there, him going again, like, yeah, this meant a lot to these two old guys to be IC champion. I've already done that. Like, oh, that's the thing you need to be Grand Slam champion. He ends up winning this whole thing and wins the IC championship and gets to Raw the next weekend. Just drops the belt in the middle of the ring like, hey, this doesn't matter to me. I've already done this. I've told you guys I want to be world champion. So, I'm vacating this belt. This doesn't mean as much to me as it meant to retire John Cena and let you guys know I'm the future of this company. And I'm not even one of those fans of vacating the title, but that would have been such an interesting way to get heat on him because for the last few weeks, you've been telling us the IC title means something to both Sheamus and John Cena.
Right. Yeah, no, I would have liked that story of Braun coming out and being like, I just wanted to retire this fool so you stop talking about him so we can move on. And just like, not even like a big deal to him. He's just like, I beat that fool up because I got tired of y'all wasting my show, which I'm the leader of, talking about this old fool. It's on to the next thing. It's on to the next steps in my career, but they're not focusing on that. It's the story kind of keeps changing of what people think the tournament is going to be. We got some... another interesting addition to the tournament this week with your boy, not Nick Namath, Phil. Dolph Ziggler came back
here to show the world.
To show the world that he's back. They do old names, even though on these other shows that we have with their programming, they call these people other people, but when they're back on the main roster, they are who only the fans know. So Dolph Ziggler was back for a time. We saw the homie Zack Ryder on SmackDown. Why, Phil? Like, I get it, but also why? I don't get it.
Nostalgia pop. I get it. I understand.
Okay.
Listen, fair play to Ziggler. He went out there and worked his ass off in that match. He got the crowd on his side multiple times throughout that match, and I mean, that's no surprise. Like Ziggler is a hooper, man. Like I
Definitely.
know like Ziggler has like this like narrative around him of him not winning the big one until later on, and they kind of bungled some of his run. But no, he's a hooper. So I wasn't shocked that he went out there and had a good match. I do think it's very funny that they have a partnership with TNA, but they did not use Matt Cardona or Nick Nemeth. They didn't promote any of their post WWE stuff. They didn't do anything to go, hey, if you want to see more of these guys, they're here on this other show that we're partnered with. They're like, nah, look, here's Dolph Ziggler, even though he doesn't call himself Dolph Ziggler anymore. Like that in itself is very funny, especially because, like I said, it's not like they're just pulling any of these guys from out of thin air and giving them a one-off on the show. They're partnered with the companies that they're working at.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, that's the best part. Is like it's not going to be some crazy thing if they're like, "Hey, watch this guy on Thursdays on TNA," because they have some of their wrestlers are on that show. So it's like it wouldn't have been out of the ordinary for them to mention that. And they've been mentioning them partnerships and things going on pretty often. But here they were like, "Nope, this guy used to work here. We don't know where he's been. We're happy to see him again. It's been 500 years. It hasn't been that long." Wade Barrett was acting like it's been 5 to 6, 10 to 7 years since Dolph Ziggler's been gone. He's like, he's back. We can't believe it. It's like, we can kind of believe it though. So it's I also thought it was funny how both the returning guys just lost. So it's like,
I mean, I knew that was gonna happen. Yeah, but the other thing was Ziggler being the guy that showed up. No Joe Hendry. I expected Joe Hendry was going to be one of these surprise entrants. Yeah.
They said his name a bunch of times, Phil. He did not appear. Like, I feel like he could have definitely been in this. If they were trying to, the narrative that John Cena is trying to push out of the tournament is like, it's about the future. I kind of want some guy that deserves this to get a big opportunity. And I feel like Joe Hendry would have really represented that. They're saying he's supposed to be coming up pretty soon. So thought this would be a way to debut him, but they have other things in the plans for Joe Hendry. So hopefully he comes up with this.
Yeah. It has been leaked, potential replacement for Sheamus.
Oh, really?
Seen this?
I haven't seen it.
One of your favorite wrestlers.
Oh no.
Yeah, the rumor is that it's going to be The Miz, which is interesting because The Miz was in this tournament. He lost his first round matchup. So why are you putting him back in the tournament? He lost. He lost clean in the first round. So why? How is he getting another shot?
What? What? They couldn't find nobody else back there to put in this tournament and add some different kind of prestige to it for a minute. I guess they think, I don't even care about the John Cena and Miz connection. Like, that's like one of the least selected things that I would want coming out of this tournament. And they're like, no, let's try it again. Let's put them back in there. I know that the importance of a tape show, it's going to be Thanksgiving weekend and stuff. And they're just like, let's kind of do it. I understand. But like, they could have went with something else.
The only thing I can think of is that they realize, hey, we do have this Mello and Miz storyline that we haven't paid off.
Yeah.
And maybe we're going to use the tournament to pay that off. But that would seem to mean that Mello is going to win this next match, right?
Do you believe that? I feel like the beating on Mello is going to be way worse than it was on Javon. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just gonna be over. But I don't know. He could be a red herring, a shocking thing. Maybe Mello does do the thing, and they do pay off Miz and Mello in this tournament. We've seen wilder things.
Yeah, unless I'm getting the matchups mixed up. LA Knight has moved on. So I think LA Knight is getting the Gunther match, or
I don't know.
Here, let's look this bracket up.
Yeah.
Is there a bracket for this thing yet? Because they have not
now. Yeah. Last night they released it.
Wow. Only took a few weeks,
What took so long? I don't know. I understand the mystery of what's going on, but like, just drop the brackets, man. People love brackets. They love to fantasy book their own little endings to this. The fantasy bookers, the fantasy booker tees. Yeah, it's got to be there somewhere.
Googling now. This is clearly not the bracket.
Mm.
Let's try this one. Here we go. Here's the bracket. Finally.
Google.
Yeah. No, I don't want a video clip. Give me the bracket.
Classic the internet. Make everything so difficult. Try to find a recipe, you guys. Is there recipe debates on here? Because ridiculous these days on these web pages.
Okay, here we go. So the most of the semifinals are set. Got Penta versus Solo Sikoa. Like we were saying, Carmelo Hayes versus Gunther. Jey Uso versus Rusev, and then whoever Sheamus's replacement versus LA Knight. So gotcha. If it's The Miz, it's looking like The Miz will be going against LA Knight.
And like LA Knight should definitely go over, especially with Miz coming in after already losing. Like, feels like he's just a body for LA Knight to go over here, right?
I don't know. It would be pretty funny if The Miz beat him.
Dude, the LA Knight contingent is gonna be. They're already mad. They've been mad.
The LA Knight FC would probably revolt at that point. Like, what are we doing? We're storming the tower in Stanford at that point.
Their January 6th is LA Knight losing in this tournament. It's coming up really fast. I mean, I don't think either one of these guys are going to win the tournament, so it doesn't really matter, but things are going to get a little bit shifty here in this next round.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of this idea of putting The Miz back in the tournament when he lost in the first round, but again, that's just a rumor at this point. It's not official. We'll find out soon.
Rumors are usually rumors. They work. Sometimes they don't. But yeah, I guess we'll see. This tournament is winding down pretty quickly. Only a few more weeks to December and the Saturday night's main event with John Cena deal. So we're getting to it.
Yeah. The stop, start, push thing has been a conversation again this week. Not just with TNA's booking. For some reason, putting the title on Mike Santana and then giving us a Frankie Kazarian title run in 2025. That's a interesting choice. Not sure why we did that. But NXT is doing the same thing. NXT with Gold Rush. Like you said, a lot of people keep saying Javon is going to be the future of this company. For some reason, Javon lost to Dark State.
Javon and Leon, like this team that's like blowing our minds and like changing the game, and we get like old school Hardy Boys feel from these guys, and they elicit these crazy emotions. And it seems like an easy layup, an easy softball hit here, and they just can't make that happen. It's like, you guys keep telling us that Javon's the guy in every way and he's the future, but you don't show us. It feels like you put him in the situations, but he never gets the big victory. It's what makes me angry about these stop and start pushes is always the explanation. Cause I was reading some stuff about the Mike Santana thing and they're like, oh, now TNA is going to get a new TV deal and him winning it back on the first episode of that new I'm like, what? This is not how you get heat on a fucking wrestling show, thinking about the future, thinking about trying to pop ratings, thinking about how to do this. What about now? What about how people are feeling about your company and Mike Santana and the pushes? And some people are tuned out because of what you're doing to us now, because you're thinking of the future and long-time storytelling and let it play out. Like, it gets so frustrating when you could just execute it right now and do it and think of something more when you get there. It's just like what you're talking about earlier. These are writers. Like, write something good now and then write something good in 3 months when you need to. I just don't understand the, oh shit, so a wrench was thrown into our plans. Like, what do we do? What do we do? Everybody starts running around with a chicken with their head cut off when they should have plans in place all the time for these things.
Yeah, I don't quite get it, but the more interesting move out of the stop-start thing, everybody was excited about this Tatum Paxley. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. A good amount of people on the timeline were excited about Tatum Paxley finally getting the big win over JC Jane. It seemed like this was the move after JC Jane had become like the top heel in that division to give somebody the big win over. JC Jane is the new women's champion, joining a select few as a 2-time NXT Women's champion. I did not expect that. I was looking around like, wait, didn't Tatum just win?
See, I land on two sides because I don't think every reign needs to be 500 days. It doesn't have to be this epic reign, and we should have flash wins and things like this on other top competitors. But I thought this one was really fast. I was like, wow, I didn't know they didn't really let her build at all. But it's like, I don't know if we talked about it a little bit last week, Phil, with the Mike Santana stuff and this mind state of adversity and Cody verse, and you got to go through all these hoops and whistles and fires to get to the moment, even though we're just at the moment. I don't know if that's what
No. Like a thief in the night, because we won't let you in. Fatal influence supremacy, buddy.
Listen, they've been trying to tell us that Fatal Influence is the top heel group around here, and you're going to take this and accept it, and people keep trying to revolt, but they're not going to let them. That HBK, great character, man. I love him.
Great character, HBK. Nah, they keep trying to tell you, man. We're not letting you in, buddy. It's writing the theme song. We trying to tell you, bro. You can't get in here, bro. We the chosen ones.
Listen, heat is heat. They got a bunch of heels on top over there in NXT, Phil. Like, I guess that's the vibe right now in those parts. Shawn Michaels likes his heels.
Wait a minute. Wait, Orion. Wait.
Number one.
Number one.
Listen, that's your crew. You was happy when JC. You was like, oh, my girl, JC got another one? Two-time? Now, shout out to JC, though. She's doing some good work out there. They pull in double duty. They're working TNA too and Full Sail. Like, they've never been there before.
Nah, man. Fucking number one fatal influencer. That is hilarious, bro.
Fatal influencer.
Number one fatal influencer over here, buddy. I'm trying to tell you. Oh, man.
Oh.
Yeah. I probably know more of their theme song than you probably guys realize. Like, the first few bars of it, I actually know most of the lyrics. And yeah, because we've heard it enough. I feel like every time I get online and I look at certain clips, like it's a clip of JC holding the belt up and their music starts playing with the cowbell and everything. I'm like, bro, just fucking JC Jane and Fatal Influence fucking supremacy, bro.
Forever. Shout out to the crew, man. They're making it happen. The women's divisions always are reigning supreme in every company, so it makes sense that Fatal Influence is on top over there.
Yeah.
Fatal Influence. That's a classic name, classic movie name. Like, you can't get better than that, Phil.
Is it Fatal Attraction?
I'm saying it could be a classic movie name. Make the movie Fatal Influence. That sounds kind of almost like a Lifetime movie, though. Like, Fatal Influence. He was in love with this teacher until one day.
He was, whoa. He was in love with who? Whoa. what kind of movie is this?
Until the janitor stepped in. Fatal influence. Oh. This coming from people that don't regularly watch NXT, you guys know this for a fact. I don't even know where to find that show.
It's on CW. You can pull up the CW app, which is free. It's on regular TV, not cable. It's right there for you, man. Listen, man.
Can't find it. Never seen it. I think it is actually on. Like my TV gets like 10 local channels, and NXT is one of those, and I can't, you know. They're saying TNA is might go to AMC. Phil, you're gonna watch it on there? You got AMC?
TNA is going where?
To AMC.
Interesting. A wrestling show on AMC? I'm not sure how that fits.
Listen, they seen Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, all the bits. Like also TNA too. You don't think that's next? Mad Men and TNA.
Nah, I don't know if that fits. That's a interesting choice.
Listen, this talk has been so funny because I'm like, okay, half of our talk this year has been about ratings and TV discourse and things kind of surrounding that. And I get like on one hand, I see it because like if you get a TV deal, the company's gonna pay you big money, and then like the other stuff doesn't really matter because like when AEW discourse starts, people are like, oh, ticket sales and ratings and all this shit, but it's like they're getting paid from Warner Brothers regardless, a big check and all that. So like this stuff doesn't matter. So it's like maybe if TNA gets a big deal, the money take over and nothing else will matter and it'll help the wrestlers. But I'm also like, doesn't TV not matter? Don't we not care about ratings and things like that? Nobody even can get the AMC channel. So why are we so focused on that? Shouldn't you focus more on streaming and trying to figure out your live event stuff? Wouldn't that benefit the company more? I don't know. I don't know the specifics. I don't know numbers and things, but I feel like shouldn't you focus on those things?
Well, I mean, I think most people have anticipated an announcement for a TV deal since the partnership with WWE, because that would seem to be the main benefit of working with WWE is to get more eyes on this product to get a TV deal. I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way because there was also some talks of maybe them landing on CW. So like these partnerships could lead to something. I would think like there has to be one benefit at least, Phil, not just getting squashed in every time you guys have a face off of companies. Like they got to be working for something, I would think. What's his name? Carlos, whatever. I definitely know what he's doing out there.
Nah, man. WWE is trying to tell TNA, man. We hold all the light and we'll blind you with it, man. Another Fatal Influence reference, guys.
Another Fatal Influence reference, guys. This is gonna become your new what was the AEW song? The Outcast. This is gonna become your new Outcast song.
the trend of how similar like female groups with like this kind of song for them, and I somehow know the lyrics, people are gonna like write this narrative about me now.
I'm like, I think you're writing the narrative knowing all these songs. But honestly, listen, the female-led vocal songs usually hit the hardest in wrestling. When they get it right, you know?
Yeah, that's why I was so confused at one point when the Damage Control one. I was like, this is
yeah, right. Yeah, what's up with the remix?
I mean, when they remixed it and like the Japanese woman started singing, I was like, oh no, they got some heat here. Like the English one wasn't really hitting though.
You know, like we got the pounder, we got the stage, we got the same, the same. Who was that rapping on there?
I don't know, but that wasn't it, bro. No, when the Japanese singer started doing it, it was different, bro. I was like, oh, well, hold on.
That is one song that is constantly stuck in my. I think because you hear Damage pretty often, like out of wrestling, just in general. And it's like every time I hear Damage, I think we got the pounder and they got the thing. I'm like, that was bad.
Yeah, that wasn't it. Wasn't
That
quite
was
it.
not it. The homies in CFO were doing bad. Are they still there? They lost their jobs?
No, it's Def Rebel. It's been Def Rebel for a while now.
That's what I think. Sorry, CFO. I get these guys mixed up. Def Rebel, terrible, awful human beings. Every time I see their pictures, I'm like, this is why.
Yeah. Wasn't a fan of that damage control thing, but it's all right because because like I said, Japanese version was better, and now damage control is no more. I don't know what Dakota Kai is doing, but rehire her. Somebody hire this woman. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, they've kind of started a crusade. I saw Bailey was essentially tweeting like, bring her back and all this stuff, and it's like, I just don't understand why they ever released her. Like, it feels like she was filling a void that they need over there, and she has a lot of fans. Every time this rehire or somebody hire her thing starts, like, there's a crusade and a bunch of people are like, yes, we're into this. So I don't really understand this.
Yeah. Bracab is saying, I remember Phil singing the Allcast theme back when they were thinking AEW. No, it's over, man. It's over for that, man. It's I told you already. It's like a thief in the night. No, we won't let you in.
I'm like, it's not totally over because the homegirl trying to get her job again for sure. Most definitely. She's trying to go back up over there. The homegirl page.
No, I think she's trying to get a WWE run.
Yeah,
she's talking about like trying to get in the dungeon with Natty. Like, nah, I feel like that's a WWE.
That's what I'm saying. She's trying to get a job back in her home base. Like, I see.
They're not gonna let her use the Outcast theme. Can you imagine her coming out at in the Rumble, and that's what we get, the Outcast theme, storm from the inside.
Absolutely not.
Everybody be like, wait, what is this? I'll be the only person.
This is my house so fast.
I'll be the only one at home. Like, yo, the Outcast.
like we got at least one person. Philip Lindsey loves this. He loves it. No, but I saw the homegirl talking, saying she about to get back in the ring. Anytime people start adding Natty, Phil, you know exactly what time it is. Oh no, I'm trying to be in the dungeon. I fucking bet, brother.
Yeah, the dungeon family is back together.
Dungeon family.
I guess that's what time it is.
Got Big Gip out there, CeeLo, Andre 3000. The dungeon family. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, man. Listen, Dante, I'm trying to put y'all on game, man, because he's like a thief of the night that's gonna be in my head on that. Listen, man, I had to have it stuck in my head, so now it's going to be in everybody else's head. You all will suffer with me because again, we're not letting you out of here, man. You're stuck in the circle with us, buddy. JCJ is champion again. Didn't one of them just win the speed belt, man? Like, they're gonna hold all the gold in a second, bro. They're gonna try and win. They're trying to try and win the North American title.
That's a fact.
Try to tell you, fatal influence, fucking supremacy, buddy.
Yeah. Reigning supreme on top. JC Jane's gonna be 3-time champion. She's gonna lose it just to win it again, so she could be 3-time champ. I think they're trying to erase something. You know how WWE does. They're like, look, we need to start having the people that are here have these accolades. We can't have these things associated with other people, so let's do it like this. And some people benefit from that, and that is fatal influence right now. Winning all the gold, being on top, main eventing all the TV shows. Like, just get in line, Phil.
Listen, man. I bet I know the front line. You bet stay the same. So stay where you're meant to. We're taking over the game.
Harmonizing the fatal is hella funny. He doing fatal influence runs is crazy.
Yo, we got a super chat.
He getting into it. His Imani bag doing the fatal influence thing.
Imani bag with fatal influence is wild funny. Oh, yeah, we got super chat tonight.
Dog, every time I see an Imani video, it makes me like when he's singing, because like he does like that side, like, you know, when singers get into their bag. It's so funny, man.
Yeah, he was not happy with Kid Cudi this week in his Michael Jackson comments. He was,
His tweet with just the Michael the glove hand with the middle finger. That shit killed me. Kid Cudi was wilding though. Let's go ahead and address it real quick. Kid Cudi put out a tweet and delete where he was like, Michael Jackson was just about the music. I'm trying to be bigger than that. I'm trying to be an actor. I'm trying to be a musician. I'm trying to be a director. I'm trying to be this. All he did was music, and it's like,
you mean the guy that changed the way we look at music videos? Like one of the biggest artists of all time, like the guy that had like a video game and like
that guy
fucking music videos that basically were movies. Like what?
Yeah. I remember when there was going to be the release of the black and white video, and it was going to play just like it was an event. I don't remember when it was.
All of his videos became events.
It was surrounding something. Yeah, because the Remember the Time thing was the same. It was just like at 8 p.m., your whole family's going to be in front of the TV together to watch Michael Jackson. Like that was a time for a lot of stuff. And then like I had the Michael Jackson video game. Like this wasn't just a regular fool like people be trying to say.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what that take was, Cudi, but maybe keep that one. It's cool.
Like it's just about, you don't have to down somebody to big up yourself. You could have just been like, Michael Jackson's the greatest, and I'm trying to also be great. That's it. Same thing.
Yeah. It's a take. But yeah, if you got super chats, that is the best way to get your chat read on this podcast. You can send us a super chat and also send us a humper chat, humperchats.com/Fightful.
Absolutely. Of course, we always appreciate your super chats, your humper chats, participating in our chats and being here every Saturday. Y'all are the best. Let's get into a couple of those and we'll move forward. The homie Van Twin Blade says, Sent Humpers forgot to say it's the Full Gear card with who I think will win. Making beef shank and mashed potatoes for my birthday dinner. 36 on Monday. Happy birthday to the homeboy Van Twin Blade early on Monday. I hope it's amazing. I always appreciate your contributions to our podcast, to our Discord, and everything. I hope that you have the best one, my homie.
Happy birthday to Van Twinnable. Hopefully it's a good one. Have a good birthday weekend. I will get into your humper chats in a few.
Definitely. And then the homie T-Rav says, not too many people are rapping better than Ransom, in my opinion. Him and Conductor's album is crazy. Wale is still dope also. New Conway coming. He just dropped a song going back and forth with Rock Marcy. Oh, yeah, definitely heard about that. It's a crazy, insane music life at this point. I opened up my Apple Music, and on top they're like, play all these are the new albums, and there was like 5 new albums. I was like, I don't have time for this. I did yesterday listen to the new De La Soul album, and I was driving over to the West Coast Pro Show, and the first song on the album is a skit with the homie Giancarlo, and he's like calling out. I knew exactly where it was going. It's like a roll call of who's going to be on the album. And so he's like calling out all the producers' names. He's calling out the rappers' names. And then he gets to the end and he's like, he calls out a name and you're just like, it's just like too much, but a great tribute. It's such a De La Soul album. It's like a feel-good record. There's samples of like super popular songs, but like De La Soul would do this. The music, the production's insane. DJ Premier went bonkers on this album. Some crazy beats on there. Nas is rapping like crazy. Paz is rapping insane over the whole album. It's just a great. When listening to the Mobb Deep album and what that was, and them featuring a lot of Prodigy's verses and stuff we've probably never heard, and making the album out of that, and then listening to this album where they didn't have a lot of Dave verses. It wasn't like Dave is on every song, and we're doing like this tribute type thing. It was like they paid tribute to Dave in a huge way throughout the whole thing, but it was totally different than the Mobb Deep album. The Mobb Deep album was awesome, but I love the way that they did this, and like they're continuing on the legacy of De La Soul while paying tribute to him. Just a really great album if you guys haven't heard it. Have you heard any of it, Phil?
I have not. I have seen some of this stuff for the upcoming Conway album. I've heard most of the Wale album. The Wale album is very good. It's more of him getting into his R&B bag, and like there's a little bit of like Afrobeat on there. Like it's definitely his style of music. I think he does R&B collabs better than a lot of rappers at this point. He does like the R&B sample game with his style of music better than most. And yeah, a lot of people are speaking very highly of the Wale album so far. So shout out to him. He's been on a press run through this whole thing. I've only seen the interview with him on Joe and Jada's podcast. I know he also did Breakfast Club. That's where he talked about this
Cole
story that people were tearing him apart for because they were like he was misremembering the chain of events. Telling somebody they were misremembering the chain of events in their own life is hilarious. But yeah, people were on his neck about that, and then he's done a few interviews over the last few weeks.
The way that the detectives immediately came out and they're like, well, this song came out on December 3rd, blah, blah, blah. And Wale's talking, I'm like, how are you going to tell a person that was there that he wasn't there? Essentially, like, this is him lying again. He could never. It's funny because we just talked about this last week, Phil, and it's like Kendrick fans are insane. Drake fans are crazy. J. Cole fans are up there too, man. They were out with their magnifying glasses and fire just trying to kill this guy for talking about an event that he was a part of. You would have thought that he said something crazy. He was just like, hey, this was kind of wild that this thing happened. And they were like, how dare you ever speak the name of Jermaine Cole? You could never be in the... I'm like, yo, these people are wild.
It was a lot. But yeah, this album is very good so far. We're getting a Nas and Premier album, right? Isn't that the report at this point?
The news dropped. DJ Premier dropped the news this week that on December 12th, it's coming in a couple of weeks, that this collab album that we've been waiting 30 years at this point for between Nas and DJ Premier is going to drop. And what I've heard on, like I said, Primo's beats on this album, this De La Soul album, are crazy. The album that he did with Ransom, like T-Rav is mentioning Ransom, who just put out that Conductor album that I need to get into, also are crazy. Nas has been rapping like he's a kid again, like just like he's back at it.
People were like he was rapping about nothing on that Clips record, and I'm like, I thought the verse was fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what your nothing is, but all right. But yeah, he's been rapping with the purpose, so I think that they're going to put out something really special. Like they're going to end the year very high. And I also agree with you on that Wale front. I think as far as like mainstream guys, like in his area, there's only a couple guys that do the R&B collab like he does. Like he's one of the best of like flawlessly intertwining the two, like classic, the way that people love to do it. So when he gets flack, I'm like, anytime he gets flack, I'm like, these people have never listened to Wale. It's only what they think of Wale because they try to put stuff on him that he don't even be doing.
Yeah, the one tweet that's been going around is the one woman saying, why is this man in his 40s not rapping about anything? I was like, I feel like this guy has been pretty introspective for a while. Like, I don't know. Like, you listen to his albums, you listen to his music, because this guy's been pretty introspective about his life and like his love life, like his, fatherhood, and like I feel like he's talked about a lot of stuff in his music.
I'm like, Wale, he's a pretty vulnerable rapper, dude. Like he like puts it out there, and his music kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. Even during his interviews, he's like super open about everything. Like you can say this about rappers, but you can't say this about Wale.
Yeah, no, one of his best records, one of his best R&B collabs is the Usher record off album About Nothing. That's definitely one of those 40 plus or 40-year-old guys that's not married yet. It does hit this emotional spot for you because he talks about a lot in that song. It's not just like a great R&B collab. He gets into some shit.
And that's older Wale. That was when he just getting into the game, and like he's done albums full of it. His latest album is just what she was talking about too. That's the best part. Everybody's like, "Did you hear it?"
Yeah, I don't know. Rosenberg and Syph on their podcast, one up, they were talking about like the best Primo and Nas record, and they kept saying they kept saying New York State of Mind. I was like, not Nas is like?
Nas is like,
yeah, it's Nas is like by far to me.
It's not even a competition. Like I like a New York State of Mind, one of the best ways, the best intros to an album in history. But Nas is like, the way that Nas is like makes me feel, that is like, I want to bottle that up. Like this is what like hip hop is all about. When this song starts, the beat drops, and Nas, like, this is hip hop to me. Like I can't get any better than that. Like one of the greatest songs of all time. And if we're talking about collaborations, it's got to be Nas's like. I hear you though with other people saying New York State of Mind, because that is a crazy ass song.
Yeah, it's Nas's like by far to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nas's like in every other Primo beat he's rapped over after that, and it's not like New York State of Mind is trash, but like
no.
Nas's like is different. First of all, I don't want to get into my feelings on that album, but it's by far the best song on that album.
Yes,
like easily.
The funniest thing about it is the next song right after it is an R. Kelly collaboration. Picture us married, you and me, KISSING. So every time I'm like living in the Nas's like bubble of life, that song immediately comes on after, and I'm like, fuck.
You know what I watched? Not a big fan of that song. You know what I watched recently? A friend of the show, Milio, we were on the phone and we were watching it together on the phone. For some reason, we were talking about the Batman and Robin soundtrack. You know where I'm going with this song that was on this soundtrack? R. Kelly, Gotham City. I don't know why that was on this soundtrack. And then when I looked up the video, I died laughing because I was like, I forgot that that's what this video was like. It's him at one point in bed with like a single candle, laying in the bed with him. And he's like, we need a city of justice, city of love. It's like, wait, what does this whole video setting have to do with Gotham City? He's like walking around in the ghetto at one point. I'm like, what's happening here?
I'm crying, dude. He's in the bed with a single candle.
And then there's a remix. The remix is even funnier because he's like driving around in the ghetto with the fucking Batmobile. It's like, yo, R. Kelly is a wild dude.
It's a wild man, dog. With the city of justice.
Gotham City. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude. That does remind me, because I saw some video this week that the collaboration song for the movie, and they would have movie clips also playing during the music video. A lost art right there, man. That used to be the best. One classic one is the Bobby Brown and Ghostbusters. Like there's those videos classic, like that, bro. Just don't happen anymore, man. Come on.
Classic, bro. If there was a fly on the wall, friend of the show, used to be on the show, Will Washington, his first ever trip to Atlanta. We went to Atlanta to go to I think we went to the Battle Slam show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was Terminus. That's what it was. It was Terminus.
Oh yeah.
So we're in a car. We're in a rent-a-car on the way to the show, and that song comes on, and this guy in the front seat raps the entire verse, the entire Bobby Brown verse to this thing, and it was fucking hilarious. Like I'm in the back seat hitting his ad libs for it at the end. Like, come on, dog.
Not surprised one bit. That's a pretty, yeah. If like they're like predict one thing about Will Washington, I'd be like, he knows the rap to the Bobby Brown Ghostbuster song. Like if anything, I know that he knows that in my life. Oh man, I love my friends. Y'all are hilarious. Appreciate that, T-Rav. Took us down a little music tunnel. That's all of our super chats for now.
Yeah, man. My man had the kids choir at the end of Gotham City singing as well. Yeah, what a
Gotham City.
Oh yeah. See, we've got some humper chats. Yeah, look. So, man, Kiss from a Rose is a classic record. Also on the Batman theme song, that was on the Batman Forever soundtrack. But the best song on the Batman and Robin soundtrack is Bone Thugs Harmony, Look Into My Eyes. That's
absolutely.
The best song.
Absolutely. That's a wild soundtrack for
the
Batman and Robin soundtrack.
But I mean, it's Warner Brothers at the time. Like R. Kelly was like,
he was the guy.
Him and Warner Brothers, like he had like a big. I mean, one of his most popular songs ever is through Warner Brothers on the Space Jam soundtrack. I Believe I Can Fly, of course, and yeah.
I mean, if you wanted a hit back then, Phil, you had to call this guy. I mean, an awful, terrible human being, but if you wanted an instant guaranteed one, call the illiterate Kelly.
Boy. I don't want to go into another tangent, but have you seen this clip where he talks about the song he made with Bow Wow that ended up turning into his song?
No.
So one of his producers, one of the people that worked heavily with him, he's telling a story about how like Bow Wow was all excited about the song he made with him, and for some reason R. Kelly called all of his songs that he thought was a hit. He treated it like a baby, and so he called the guy. He was like, "We got one. It's a boy." and so him and Bow Wow are all excited about this. For some reason, the label didn't want to put this song out. It ended up being like a hidden track or a B-side on what do you call it? Bow Wow's album. And so R. Kelly was like, "Nah, we're putting this out." And so they were trying to get he was trying to get around like the label and how he put it out on his own. And so the guy interviewing him was like, how did he get it as his own song? He was like, 4 words. This is the remix. And he put out his remix of I'm a Flirt, and it ended up being his hit.
Oh, yeah.
But that was initially Bow Wow's record. I'm a Flirt was supposed to be a Bow Wow song.
Thinking about it and hearing it and looking at it, and I'm like, okay, now yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We got one. It's a boy. Get killed.
It's a boy.
If he wasn't such an awful human being, man, I'm telling you.
What a weird human being. Yeah.
I saw some new news before we logged on this podcast about Diddy, and I was like, I don't want to hear about this. I think they said that they're having essentially sex parties in the prison. I was like,
yeah, I think we got humper chats, man. I think we got humper chats. Humperchats.com/Fightful.
I'm just trying to say the Diddy parties didn't end, Phil. They're still happening.
Having Diddy parties behind bars is crazy, bro.
They all white parties too.
Bro. All right. All right.
Oh, I'm from the city.
City of Justice.
Ooh, man. I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't want to have R. Kelly talk on here, but it just, landed there.
So some of those clips from that interview that I'm talking about, I cannot remember the guy's name, but he also talks about the Same Girls video and how the whole concept of the song was supposed to be that Usher stole his girl, kind of like the whole dynamic between him and Ronald Isley. And at one point during the making of this song, and at some point during the making of this song, R. Kelly looks to the guy to his left in the studio, and he's like, "Y'all really think Usher could steal my girl?" And so the song ends up getting changed, and like that was supposed to be the concept of the video, is Usher stealing his girl, and that's why it ended up being the twist at the end of the video that they're dating, that they were twins, because he would not acquiesce to the idea that Usher could steal his girl.
I mean, luckily, if anybody's ever lucked out on somebody changing the concept of a song, it's like Usher being like, "I don't want to take your girl."
Yeah, Yeah, I think also initially the song was supposed to be written from R. Kelly's point of view that he stole Usher's girl, and Usher's like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
We're not doing that. Let's break this. Let's think of a different way to do the song because that's not gonna work.
What a wild dude. You think Usher can I mean, it's Usher, bro. Like, what do you mean?
I would say so, R. Kelly. Like, if I were to guess, I'd say yeah. But I mean, you think what you can think, Kels. Players only. We got to get off of R. Kelly. I'm just thinking
players only. Players only is the fucking transition is crazy. Yeah. We've got some humper chats here from Tony P. He says low on funds and still helping dad move. So we're gonna make it extra brief. Petty of the week was Jimmy as he walked off mad seeing old team arguably be better and not collapse without him. LOL. But for real, Petty of the week is the MIT crew on ROH. But we can have host choice too. I think you got it. That's your choice on that one. Jimmy is a funny dude. Very funny watching him do the interview. Like this was like mid 2000s with the untied do-rag on his head.
I appreciate it. I like the dedication. This is the life of a Uso, as they say. Good bits.
Yeah. No, he's talking about Jimmy Butler.
Oh, I thought you said Jimmy Uso.
Yeah, he's talking about Jimmy Butler. I assume that's who you're talking about, right, Tony?
I don't know.
Tony also says the good heat culture, Raw with the MSG power boost, SmackDown shockingly, a 3-hour Dynamite, and the TK Ariel interview, the bad doubles, NXT, ROH, the Forever TNA, would Chris be the top women's champion if she beat Mercedes / Gail Kim's GCW, MTG quitting Congress. Yeah, this Margaret Taylor Greene stuff has been crazy. But yeah, I don't know why you're saying the Bulls are in the bad. They have like evened out. They've lost a bunch of games. They got smacked last night by the Heat. I don't know what happened with them. But yeah, two games in a row, man. Vucci, man, hitting game winners on these guys. Like, what y'all thought this was? Like, one of the greatest nicknames in sports right now is Vucci, man. God bless Stacey King, man. One of the best commentators there is.
Vucci, man, absolutely insane. But the bros out there playing for sure.
But yeah, I think this does. We'll get into the Full Gear card in a minute. I think if Chris wins tonight, that definitely cements her as the top champion in the company. I mean, I feel like that's already the case after beating Tony,
right?
But definitely a win over Tony and Mercedes in the same year. That's pretty big for her.
Yeah, I think I was talking about on the watch along. This is the perfect way for somebody to cement their new title reign with such huge players involved in the division, like immediately getting the victories over Tony, and then you're going to get a victory over Mercedes a few weeks later is huge for Chris Statlander and her reign and what people need to believe her as. I think giving her more backstage segments. I thought the backstage segment this week was super strong, or the promo, the video was great. And you just got to put her in more positions like that. And I think this does establish her as the top champion in the women's division. And it's going to add to Mercedes' story too, sending her into a little bit of disarray.
Yeah, definitely. The TK Ariel interview was definitely one of the bigger stories this week. I did not think in a million years we were going to get Tony Khan and Ariel doing an interview. That was very surprising, very shocking to see. When it was announced on the timeline, I was like, wait, what?
Like, who's going to do an interview with who? We're in the group chat like, what's going on over here? Tony going to do what? I thought... because there's been some controversy, Phil. We definitely know, like, Ariel has not held his tongue for a lot of stuff. He's talked crazy on the timeline and points about Tony Khan specifically. And there's been a lot of AEW discourse on his podcast and not good for a lot of it. So, like, it was surprising that this was happening, because I was like, why would you? It didn't seem like they had the best relationship. I didn't know what was going on. But in hindsight, and what happened, what came out of it, a lot of people are saying this could be one of Tony Khan's best interviews, the way that he kind of handled the situation. Because we've seen him in some interviews, Phil, and sometimes we don't even get a point. And this time, like, it was very pointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you guys do not know the backstory, stemming from an interview, I believe it's in 2022, Helwani did an interview with Tony, and he came away with it very frustrated with Tony giving him non-answers, and he was like, this was one of the worst interviews he's ever done. That led to, some beef between him and Tony. And then I think, like, after Helwani did the show in Montreal, I think that was the show he was on. He was SmackDown, I think, in Montreal. That was when Tony tweeted, Ariel, you're a fraud, and like you're a biased journalist. And then we got the infamous tweet in response to him of Helwani calling him Snowman, and then Tony's response to that. So I think most of us after that exchange thought, oh well, yeah, we're never going to see another Ariel Tony interview. But we did get one. I thought that exchange was kind of the elephant in the room to start this interview, because Ariel started the interview and said, like, this just shows things can change, and like, sometimes people get off to the wrong foot, and it's never fixed in this business. But I respect you for coming up here and being willing to give this another shot and do an interview with me. And I was just kind of looking around like, well, wait a minute. Part of what started this was something you said.
Yeah, right.
So it wasn't like, it was just a disagreement about like, something like, you said this guy gave you your worst interview. That's what started, that's what kicked this off. And so that was kind of the elephant in the room. And it's not like I expected him to start this by, giving him an apology for calling him Snowman, or implying what he's implying by calling him Snowman. But that was the elephant in the room. Once I saw that he was interviewing him, I was like, wait. Okay.
Like, there's some things that need to be addressed. There's some things that need to be talked about. It can't just be like, we had a disagreement in the past. Happy we're here now. It has to be like, no, it was a little bit more than a disagreement. There were some assumptions made. There was some slander thrown out there from both sides. So they needed to get into it. But I thought you can really see that Tony got with some people to brief this, to like, you know what I mean? Because this felt like, because even on some of like the phone calls, like the media calls, it's like you ask Tony a question and you'll get to it eventually, but it takes some time. This time it's like, this is this. If Ariel has a follow-up question, Tony is on that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear that Tony was media trained coming into this. I think that he's done a much better job with his interviews lately. I think he's done a better job in the media scrums of being more succinct. Because he can tend to ramble. Sometimes we do get some word salad from him, and it takes a minute to get to the point.
For sure.
But I thought that Helwani asked some good questions. I mean, despite whatever you might think of Helwani as a person, I think that he is one of the better interviewers in the business, because he does ask good questions. He asks good follow-up questions. He does. And he did a very good job of that in this interview. And, Tony didn't shy away from a lot of his questions. I think there was only maybe, one or two where he gave him, the I can't answer that. And that was obviously the Andrade question. Because it's a legal situation, I wasn't surprised that he couldn't give him an answer. He probably didn't want to say anything that may, muddy the waters with the situation that Andrade is. Because there's so much about it that the public doesn't know. And then, like I said, once it's a legal matter, you got to be careful.
Right. Yeah, there's some things that you shouldn't, like Andrade's thing shouldn't be affected by outside sources like that, because they will use this interview. They'll be like, look, this guy was talking about this on this show, and they'll plant that on Andrade, and Andrade did not deserve that. There were some agenda-based things in there for sure that Ariel was trying to get to, like carrying cross questions and why don't you book these people, that I thought were a little specific, but I understand, Phil, right? You gotta ask.
Well, to be fair, Karrion was on the Helwani show recently. So I think it did make sense for him to ask that, especially because I believe Helwani asked Cross in that interview would he be interested in going to AEW, and he said that he would. So I did think it made sense from that interview to follow up with Tony and say, you know, has there been any conversations between you and Cross?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I just like, I wish I had a dude going to bat for me like that. You know what I mean? Like the guys right here, ask him on camera, like hold his feet to the fire for me. Certainly, like I'm not mad at it at all. But yeah, I think I agree with you, Phil. I think Ariel, when you get past some of the shenanigans that could be attached, because I think he does get a little too in the mud with some things and some people, specifically like MMA stuff, and sometimes with wrestling stuff where he can feel like on one side a little bit more than the other. But when it gets down to it, I thought that he was asking great questions, great follow-up questions. He didn't let Tony get away from a lot of stuff. And I thought the stuff that he was asking were questions that a lot of people ask. He's asking about like Chris Jericho and Britt Baker and kind of the flow of AEW. Yeah. And this is stuff that we see on the timeline all the time.
Yes. When he got into basically like his lightning round of asking the status of all of these wrestlers, we did get some interesting tidbits out of that because he asked about Britt Baker, like he said, and, you know, he gave a very diplomatic answer that, you know, I would like to see Britt Baker on TV again soon, and I think we will. He gave an answer on Jericho. He gave a bit of a status on Adam Cole that is a little concerning. I mean, because if it seemed like he basically confirmed the reason that he stepped away from the ring was concussions. Now, I mean, he didn't outright confirm it, but you can get that inclination by what he was saying about head injuries and things. And, you know, he wanted to make sure that if he did come back to wrestling, it had to be in a specific way, and it would have to be something he's comfortable with, and that, you know, it almost feels like he was all but saying that Adam Cole is probably going to retire, which is very sad. Well wishes to Adam. I hope he's doing okay. Every time I've seen him pop up on a timeline on like streams or something, playing video games, he seems like he's in a good place, but you just never know. He could be putting on a good face for these streams. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was probably I don't know if I could say saddest, but most upsetting part for sure was the kind of Adam Cole stuff, because it seemed like you're saying, like could be retirement, like that could be it, like from what we're the kind of vibes that are going on. And as you guys know, Phil and I are gigantic Adam Cole fans, and we don't want this to be the end, just because I feel like there's so much more he can do. Like this company is running off of a bit of foundation that he laid, you know what I mean? So like, I want him to reap those benefits, continue to reap those benefits. But I think more importantly, I just like the homie to be healthy, and I hope that he can live a happy life post wrestling, if that's what is going on here.
Yeah, but he did confirm that he'd be open to working with Adam in another capacity, even if it's not wrestling. He said that there'd always be a place for him in AEW if he wanted to do commentating or anything else. Like, so yeah, sad. I don't want to rush out any news. You know, Adam should definitely come out and tell people himself when he's ready to do so. But yeah, it is very concerning because if it is related to concussions, that could be, you know,
that's the one thing you can't rehab. You know what I mean? Like no matter what doctors you go to, no matter what physical therapy you go to, no matter what gym you train in, the brain is the brain. You can't get a different one, you know what I mean? So you got to be very cautious with those things, and I hope that Adam Cole is good.
Yeah. Tony also said at one point that he's spoken with Chris Nowinski, and Nowinski has come to talk to the wrestlers about like head injuries and CT and some of those things. So that was interesting. When they were also both speaking very glowingly about Maven, which was kind of funny. They were both talking about how much they like Maven, and like it seemed like Tony was saying that was part of the reason that he wanted to give Ariel another shot, because he really liked the Maven interview, which is really funny as well.
the place that Maven now has in the wrestling business, I love it, man. He's one of the most open and honest personalities out there. The total opposite of fucking Stevie Richards. I think that the Tony being inspired by that interview is hilarious, and Maven kind of being the bridge that got these guys back together makes a lot of sense, because that's the vibes that Maven's putting out. Is I feel like he wants to leave like a positive impact on the business while telling his story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He gave status on a few other wrestlers. He asked about Miro and like what happened with the Miro situation. Tony, all but said that there were some creative disagreements with Maven, and they just couldn't come, to an agreement. But he seems like he's happier where he is. He seems like that worked out. He asked him about airing the footage. This is one of the first times I've seen anybody recently ask Tony, since all of that happened, was it a good idea in retrospect to air the footage? And it was interesting that Helwani, of all people, asked, because I think, like most of us, assumed that airing the footage was a response to CM Punk's Helwani interview. So, he outright asked him, was that a response to some things that CM Punk said here? And if it wasn't, is there anything Punk said in that interview that you would like to clear up? And, Tony did not take debate on it. I'm glad he did not. He did not take debate on that. He did not respond to some of the Punk things. He didn't even outright admit that the airing the footage was a response to the Helwani interview. But he did say that there were things, his accounts of what happened, he clearly didn't agree with it. And that's why they couldn't continue working together, even though he wanted to work it out. But he felt like the footage spoke for itself, and the footage cleared up some things that people might have, misunderstood, or that Punk misrepresented. I don't know. I still think the footage thing is a can of worms, but
yeah.
I thought he gave a good answer in response to that. That also led to later an interview. He asked about the picture that Punk posted of him and Ricky Saints, Cody Rhodes and Jade together. And I thought that Tony gave a really great answer. Again, did not take debate. He basically pivoted and was like, yeah, this reminded me of this picture of Mox and Cody from 2022. And I took that picture with my own phone, and that made me feel good. It did make me smile. And so he was like, I didn't feel anything about it, happy for all it. I have different experiences with everybody in that picture. And, it's not like I couldn't have a conversation with most of those guys. He all but said, and I think this is very interesting as well, that there's really no burnt bridge there. And I've been assuming that for a while. I think that anybody in that picture, Jade, Cody, Ricky, or Punk, could go back to AEW. And I know that sounds crazy for Punk, but I don't think that bridge is entirely burned.
It's not. Remember when somebody was like, who would you like to want somebody to see come back? And I was like, Punk. It's for a reason, you guys. Like, Phil and I have talked on this podcast a gazillion times on this whole situation, and this kind of confirmed the thing that I think we've been saying for a long time, is Tony tried everything in the world he could to get Punk to stay. Like, he looked at every situation of like, how could I make this work? Like, it got to like the last day, the last second of him being like, there's nothing I could do. But he exhausted every option. He tried to fix this so much in his brain. I feel like he still to this day wants CM Punk. If it was up to him, CM Punk would still be working in AEW, is the vibe that I got from that. And like, even when he was doing the speech saying he was gone, I was like, he doesn't want this. There was never a time where I was like, this guy wants CM Punk out of his company, just because every time he would talk about him, he talked so glowingly about him. And so hearing how he was talking on here, and I feel the same way. I'm like, even Cody, like there was a point I was like, maybe Cody, but like here he was just like, no, I appreciate all these people. I could have a conversation. I still am at a certain place with these guys, and I'm with you. I'm like, I think any of these people could go back one day. It's not, no bridges burned.
Yeah. in most cases, there's no such thing as burned bridges.
Not in wrestling.
I mean, there's been too many situations where we're like, oh, never, ever, never, never, never. This person's a homer. This person is a lifer. And yeah, we've seen crazier things. I mean, I think Punk going back to WWE is crazier than the idea of him going back to AEW.
Definitely 1000%. There's not, I don't even think it's the same in the same league. Like, I thought there was nothing he could ever do or would ever do to get back to that company. And like, he's been a Saudi and stuff. So like, life is different. Never in my life thought that Adam Copeland would not be a WWE superstar, and he works for AEW. So like, nothing is anything, guys. Anything could be, anything could change with the flick of a damn wrist, you know?
Yeah. On the Andrade subject, he kind of confirmed what I thought as well, because he was saying, you know, Andrade wasn't on bad terms when he left. Like, he enjoyed working with Andrade, and he always felt like if he had a chance, he would work with him again. So as soon as he was free, he was very happy about the idea of bringing him back and working with him again. And he even confirmed again, he was like, you know, once he's available again, he's always welcome.
Yeah, his whole vibe was like, it felt like he was like, I was happy to see him there when he was there for that one time that he was there, and I wish that we could use him more. But this lawsuit and everything kind of surrounding it is stopping the progression, and he just feels like he just wants Andrade to get his stuff figured out, and the door is wide open as it could ever be for him coming back. And I think that's a good sign. We got a couple of who was it that was it? They said they were at the crash with Andrade, and like, Andrade was having a good time. He wasn't upset or not. Like, it feels like everything he's involved with is
unbothered,
like,
bro.
Yeah, unbothered. That's a great way to describe it. He put
completely
out
unbothered.
A photo yesterday of him with his nice little gear on, sitting chill. Like, he is like, I don't care about none of this. I'm having a good time. I'm trying to get this shit figured out. And I like that Tony was like, we want him to get it figured out and come back, essentially.
Yeah. There's also a quote from Kenny Omega, I think, from an interview with Shaq, where he was saying, you know, Andrade seemed like he was in good spirits. He wanted to be there. He was motivated to work with AEW. So yeah, I definitely think once this legal situation is figured out, Andrade will be back.
The Miro stuff was funny too, like you're talking about, because he kind of, I don't want to say again confirmed, but there's some things that we thought, and Tony essentially was like, because he was like, I like Miro. I think he's a great competitor. I think he did some fun things in AEW, but creatively, we couldn't really get it together. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, when did they say that about a wrestler, Phil, where they're like, creatively, it couldn't work out? What does that mean?
Yeah. I think that he definitely implied some things there. He took the high road. He took the high road a few times. I thought he took the high road with Chris Jericho. He was very complimentary about Chris Jericho, given like the last quote we got from Jericho, calling TNA the second biggest promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still is, he didn't say a lot about his status, but he just still said that he still be interested in working with Chris Jericho. He also everything about like that little lightning round when he was asking status of wrestlers, like a few of them, like Britt Baker, I was like, I know he's gonna give us the nice answer. He took the high road on Eric as well, because of course Eric Bischoff came up, and I thought the way that Helwani asked that question was really good, because he was saying basically like there are a lot of old timers at this point that have podcasts, and for some reason they all shoot at Tony, like for whatever reason, like a lot of these old timers with podcasts, like they have this axe to grind with Tony. Why does he think that is? And like he's again took the high road with Eric. He was like, I was a big fan of WCW growing up. I value some of Tony's opinions. We disagree on things, but it's still hard feelings. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I don't have any hard feelings towards Bischoff.
And a diplomatic answer that I feel like he should take, because it doesn't do Tony any good to fight back or fire back, because like, what's that going to do? Because these guys are going to continue to do this. Like, he knows what the shtick is on Bischoff and Cornette and Russo and all these guys and the busted open guys, and it's like they're going to go a certain way, and fighting fire with fire is not the way to do it. Just keep booking your show, put your head down, and kind of go for it. That I do like Ariel, like kind of addressing all the grifter stuff and all the stuff that's kind of thrown at Tony online to give Tony the platform to be like, it doesn't really affect me. I just kind of do my thing and keep booking the shows.
He even was he even tried to give a very diplomatic answer and say, well, we're on TV a lot. We're on TV Wednesday and Saturday. So, I know it gives people a lot of content to talk to. It gives people, something to react to, and then they get the engagements off of it. Yeah, I feel you, but it do seem like they be going kind of hard. Like,
yeah, that's actually
and some of it is a bit much.
There's some stuff that WWE does that they should have hold them to the fire more, and they don't. They think it's they get around it. They talk differently, and when Tony does the same thing, they're like, "This is it! I can't believe he would do this to the business. Wrap AEW up." It's definitely, the lingo is completely different and stuff. That lightning round stuff, like you're talking about, is funny though, because some of the responses, like Britt and Chris Jericho, he's like, I'd love to have them back. I can't wait. And then there's like, what about MJF? He's like, he'll be back in about 3 weeks. This is the day, like, you like the
definite timeline,
right? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like, okay, we're definitely going to get these people, and some people just kind of in the dark.
Definite timeline. Put over how good Happy Gilmore 2 was, and like what that did for MJF, what that did for AEW, because AEW is mentioned a lot in the press run for Happy Gilmore 2. I thought even like some of the questions about WWE, he didn't really bite on those either. I thought he gave good answers on like them counter programming. The Matt Hardy quote that he had from his interview with Matt, and he was saying that Matt said that the TNA partnership was basically a way to make it harder for AEW, and how he feels about that. And again, I thought he gave a good answer, but there's only so much you can say with those kind of things. I thought that he gave a good answer to the counter programming thing, because he mentioned something that I didn't even really think about, because he was like, this is always been WWE/WWF's playbook. Like, even when WCW was a thing and they were doing well, they started sending some of their wrestlers to Smoky Mountain. I was like, I forgot about that. And so he's like, I'm not surprised by all of this. And, it's the business. And so I get it. And, he said it is a bit frustrating, but, I'm not shocked by it. I don't think anybody should be shocked by it.
I mean, famously, Paul Heyman's a figure on television all the time, but like they started working with ECW to try to fuck with WCW. You know what I mean? Like, this is a long-term playbook, a thing that they've been doing to try to stop their competition for years. So I like Tony being like, this is normal. Like, I think we kind of expected this, and like, they're going to continue to counter program us, and we're going to have to figure it out moving forward.
Yeah. But I thought overall it was a good interview.
Yeah.
I thought, like I said, that Helwani asked good questions. He asked very pertinent and relevant questions. There was something else he asked, and I was like, yeah, that's a good question. I can't think of what it was off the top of my head, but he asked something else that I was sitting watching and like, not a lot of people would ask him that. And I think that that's the benefit of Helwani's platform, is he is going to ask tougher questions than most. I think that he is, more professional than a lot of other people in the field, and because of his standing in both MMA and wrestling, he is going to get better answers and better questions than most platforms.
Absolutely, he's an interview that I will check out, because he knows the ins and outs of everything he's kind of talking about. Like, he's on the side of knowing the professional things and knowing the questions to ask about business, but then he's also like on the internet, so he sees a lot of what people are talking about, and he addresses those things too. And he'll throw a softball to some people sometimes, just because that's kind of what life is, but for the most part, you're gonna get the answers that you want with an Ariel interview. He'll try to get to them, at least.
Yeah, they pointed out in the chat. That's the question I was wondering about. He asked, because he said almost every other form of combat sports has a Saudi Arabia deal at this point.
Oh, yeah.
UFC, WWE, and he was like, at this point, AEW is the last one that doesn't have a deal with that. And yeah, I thought that was an interesting question. Tony, he kind of danced a little bit. He answered it, but he did dance a little bit. I am of the opinion, I've seen a lot of people say on the timeline that there's no way he would ever get in bed with Saudi. I'm not so sure. Saudi Arabia is offering a lot of money, guys. It's hard to turn down the money that they're offering. I don't know.
I am a diehard AEW fan. Everybody knows I talk about it a lot on this show. If you ask me yes or no on if they'll take a Saudi deal, I'll say yes every time. I'm sorry. I know it sounds crazy, but like, you guys,
I mean Saudi at this point, like Saudi is one of the suitors for Warner Brothers right now. He also asked about Warner Brothers deal and like the chances of like them doing a TV deal for Ring of Honor with somebody other than Warner Brothers. Tony reaffirmed that his rights deal with Warner Brothers is his priority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think just even that is interesting. I don't know. He asked them about the chances of having an exclusive streaming platform for AEW to have all the pay-per-views on, and like, you know, basically the pay-per-view business has been the same for the past 5 to 6 years. The only thing that's changed now is it's on HBO Max. You can get a discounted rate on the pay-per-views through HBO Max. So yeah, I thought that was a good question. I thought he all of the business questions he's asked around like rights deals and like the Saudi deals and stuff that other people are doing. I thought that all of that was really good as well.
Yes, a lot of questions that we've had for the last couple of years, it feels like at this point. Like, essentially, what's the future of AEW's business? Like, are you going to stay a TV partner, TV deal? Are you going to move into streaming more? And I think a lot of that is addressed. Tony is like Warner Brothers, dude. Like, we're in this deal right now. Everything that's happening is going to happen under their umbrella. If I talk to anybody or do anything else, Warner Brothers is involved with it. Like, he is on the line. You're not going to get him to say anything that's beyond that business, because that would be dumb. And they are giving up all the slots and all the money right now. So I do respect that. But I think it's a question for the wrestling business in general. Like, Helwani should have the same questions for WWE and the same questions for TNA and anybody who's going to deal in streaming and TV moving forward. Like, what is this going to be? What do you want to happen in the future here? Because things have completely changed on all fronts, and how people consume this stuff and where it's going to be moving into the future. Super interesting conversation. I thought that there's a lot of press this week for AEW and Full Gear, and I saw that the Young Bucks also talked about Chris Jericho, and people are surprised that Nick Jackson's like, we'd like him to stay. I think that everybody would like Chris Jericho to stay, even if how crazy we kind of talk on our shows and how we feel about what Chris Jericho's business is. The wrestlers and the people in that company, they like that business that Chris Jericho brings, Phil.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Any of these people that are like, they would love for Chris Jericho to come back. Of course, they feel that way. A lot of these people are friends with him.
Yeah,
it's just like when we get these quotes about Vince and how people are like, yeah, you know, I had a good business relationship with him. Yeah, a lot of people made a lot of money with Vince. He changed their lives, and Chris Jericho is undeniably a big part of the foundation of this company. This company would not exist in the form it is without Chris Jericho, especially in that first year as the champion. Tony has said like one of the things that inspired him to start this company was the match with Kenny Omega in New Japan. So he's extremely important to this company. Whether I like everything he's done with AEW or not, he is absolutely instrumental to the early years of success with this company.
Yeah, some of them bits we're not completely into. We don't like everything that Chris Jericho's involved in, but like, yeah, this company doesn't function the same. This company isn't in the same place it is without Chris Jericho being attached to that. As much as I love everybody else, Kenny and the Bucks and Hangman and all these people, you needed that big face, that long-term veteran in Chris Jericho, and people kind of still feel that way. Saying all this, I don't think he's coming back, but like, it's good to be hopeful about it. Like, I'd be so surprised if Chris Jericho is not 1 through 30, one of them damn Royal Rumble numbers. That'd be the most surprising thing that ever happened in my life, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely think we're hearing Judas or Break the Walls Down very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere else.
If I had to guess, but yeah. But yeah, I ended up really liking the interview. I thought that
Me
it
too.
was a amicable conversation. There was no real tension in this conversation. I thought that Tony handled himself very well in the interview. I thought that was a good look for him, that he'd be willing to get in a hot seat and answer some of these questions. And even if I did feel like he tried to be diplomatic, this didn't feel like how he can be in some interviews where he is just like in full promotion mode and he'll just completely, pivot to, cue card promotional rhetoric. And I thought for the most part that he got some good answers out of Tony.
That's a fact, because that can be a thing, Phil. Sometimes, especially when they're in press pay-per-view mode, where like they'll ask a question, they're like, "So what's up with this wrestler?" And he's like, "Well, we got the pay-per-view this weekend, and we're gonna start off with this." And he just goes into the history of AEW, and it's like, that's not really not really the vibes right now. And that wasn't what it was. And that's what, if people haven't seen this interview, I think that's kind of what Phil and I are trying to get off. You want to like that Tony Khan interview where it's really down to the shit, down to the questions, down to the brass tacks. This is the interview for you to check out.
Yeah, I've seen a few interviews where a few people have gotten that out of Tony, but sometimes the interview is just like, all right, it's promotion mode. Like, I feel you.
Like, we know the show's on Saturday, Tony. We're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie Tony Khan. Shout out to the homie Ariel for getting to the shit. We need more. We can't let this die, you guys. Like, they're trying to kill media. They're trying to kill journalism. They're trying to kill real questions and thoughts and real thought-provoking conversations. And we just can't let it die, you guys. We got to continue this trend because it's going to be a bunch of robots soon.
Yeah. And a lot of people in media are losing their jobs, and a lot of positions are getting, eliminated. So yeah, I think that when people are very good at their job, people need to support these things. It's the same when, whether you agree with everybody's takes on some things, when they are putting in the work to cover something like AEW, which is still niche, people should support it, because it's getting harder and harder, man, for media folks on the writing side, especially. Writing for some of these outlets, it's some of these jobs are going away. A lot of these freelance gigs, a lot of these writing staff gigs, they are going away.
It's scary, Phil. Every time I get on, it seems like Twitter's the most place, and I see like, oh, Rolling Stone knocked out a whole division, or Vibe is merging and they're taking out their whole, like, you just keep hearing this about these writing places and these freelance gigs. They're like, they're not having them anymore. They don't exist anymore. They're moving into different spaces. Like, it's scary for Phil and I are writers, and we move on a different platform in a different way. And like, this is our stuff being affected. And I'm trying to expand my writing stuff right now into some different facets, and I'm nervous. I'm like, I gotta hurry up before this shit don't exist no more.
Yeah. I did think there were a few things during this interview that I was like, all right, I either have a follow-up question to that, or I thought multiple times like, hey man, maybe we haven't interviewed Tony since 2022?
It's been a long time.
I would like to run back an interview with Tony, because there were a few questions I had that you probably can't get in the setting of a media scrum. I wouldn't mind running that one back.
I got a bunch of questions, Phil. Like, there's some there. I'd like that they got into the ROH stuff, but I like to expand upon the ROH stuff and kind of some of the booking philosophies behind that, because I think some questions still need to be answered. And yeah, like you, there's some things that I'm like, this should be expanded upon. And I think Phil, Lindsey, and Righteous Reg are the ones to expand upon those things. Just saying.
When he asked the status thing, the one that I didn't hear him ask about in the lightning round was Private Party. What's the status on them? We haven't heard anything about Private Party.
Fucking Private Party. Like, seeing what seeing how people were talking about Dante Martin this week, which I thought was super funny. I'm like, Dante's back. I'm like, he's been back. You guys just don't watch Ring of Honor. But it's like teams that I loved and like this company was kind of based around are not in the same position anymore. And I just wish they were in Top Flight and Private Party of the two I always think of when I think of that.
Yeah. I definitely thought that this week watching Dynamite with Top Flight being paired with Scorpio Sky, and how, there's been a lot of talk about like forward momentum for certain teams or certain AEW wrestlers that have been around for a while since the beginning. And I think we expected Top Flight and Private Party to be further along at this point in the pecking order, and they're not.
Yep.
And it's interesting because Dante is still a dynamic performer. He's still, electrifying. There's nobody in this company, even though this is a company built around that style of wrestling, big high spots, the flippy wrestlers. It ain't a lot of people that can move like that guy does, that gets the amount of air on some of these moves that guy gets.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating that, Top Flight hasn't moved along as we expected. Now, I mean, they've had some missteps with the way that they've tried to repackage themselves. Like they were trying to do the pilot outfits at one point. That
was weird.
Like they put them with Layla Gray, and now they're putting them with Scorpio Sky. So it seems like there's like some issues with repackaging them. Even like the fact that they're still trying to do this like back and forth on will they won't they thing with the Acclaimed tells you a lot as well. And so yeah, it is interesting that like Top Flight and Private Party were teams that I thought early on were earmarked, especially due to their matches with the Young Bucks, and there hasn't been the progress we expected.
Yeah, you brought up some great points there. I think that you hit it on the head with like the progression. I just thought that by now it's been 5 or 6 years, we'd be like, in the annals of AEW tag team history, Top Flight and Private Party are prominent and they represent that, and that's not really the vibes. And really another great point of you bringing up the Acclaim of like, we thought that these were going to be two singles guys moving forward. We didn't think like Acclaim was over for a lot of us. We're like, all right, that was fun. Like now we're gonna see what the two of these guys got, and they went back to it, and they're kind of trying to do this will they or won't they thing. And the division, I think, needs something like that. I don't know if the Acclaim is. I don't know if them being a team for the rest of time is the idea, but I do like that they're involved in something. It's just a couple of teams and people that I thought would be further along at this point, and they kind of got lost in a thing. I mean, that was the controversy this week, Phil, with the women's tag team championship tournament stuff in Ty-J.
Yeah, some people were very upset that Anna and Ty Mello lost their first round matchup. And I saw a lot of people saying that they were set up to fail. And it's tough. And I get people's frustrations. I get it because Anna and Ty have been advocating for women's tag titles longer than anybody. They've been together as a tag team since the Deadly Draw. And so I get it. I get that part of it. I understand people feeling like when you have two people that have talked so much about these titles, you would think that they would be a bigger part of the plan for them. But the problem here is like, this isn't a perfect one-to-one example, but like when we think about Mercedes and Bayley advocating for those belts, those are two of the best women's wrestlers in that company at the time. Absolutely. Like those are two of the 4 horsewomen. They're wrestling, and it's not just them advocating for the belts. You already know if you put those two as the figureheads of that tag division, you don't have to worry about the matches. You don't have to worry about will people care about them as a tag team because they already have such an established fan base.
Right.
The issue here, as I see it, with Anna and Ty is that, day one fans, hardcore AEW fans like them. But I think the division has progressed. The division has gotten better and better since the Deadly Draw. I mean, when we went through the field for the Deadly Draw, a few weeks ago, and like most of those wrestlers are not in this company anymore. And like you just see how much better the division is today. It's hard to justify pushing them ahead of some of the teams. Like, because I saw people say, okay, well, you set them up for failure because you put them against Megan and Penelope in the first round. Because when we talked about the bracket, when it initially dropped, I was like, okay, they're going to lose first round. There's no way they're beating Megan and Penelope.
Yep.
But the issue also is, what other first round team were they going to beat?
I thought that they could have potentially been in the Willow and Harley spot. Like they could have got the victory over Mercedes and Athena. But the story there was Athena's and Mercedes have beef with Willow and Harley. So that's the story that we be told. So that's what I was saying on Anna and Ty. It's like no story coming into this tournament told me that they're going to beat anybody.
Exactly. I think all of the story has been around some of the other teams. Most of the talking points around Anna and Ty is just internet stuff and what they've done to say that this has been their dream.
Right.
And that's why I'm kind of like even in that scenario, I think people on the timeline would have been more upset if Anna and Ty upset Athena and Mercedes. I think people would have been upset with that.
Definitely.
And I mean, maybe you could make the case that they should have made the field for the tournament bigger. That way that they could have put them against like a jobber team in the first round and gave them a win. But I think as it stands with the teams that are in this bracket, like, I don't know, like of what we saw out of Alex Windsor and Rio, they're not better than that team.
I don't think so.
I don't think I don't think it made sense for them to beat Sisters of Sin. I don't think it made sense for them to beat Harley and Willow. Like out of most of these first round matchups, I don't think it fared that well for Anna and Ty. And I think that's unfortunate. And I can understand, like I said, people being frustrated with that. I can even understand if they're frustrated with that.
Definitely.
But I also just realistically, I don't understand how you could have gone into this tournament thinking that they were coming out of the first round. Like I never thought that was going to happen. And unfortunately, it feels like to me, based on the storytelling we've gotten since Blood and Guts, and that's also telling that they weren't in a Blood and Guts match. I think that was hint number 2. Even if you didn't look at the matchup, that was big hint number 2 that they weren't going to advance. But I think with all the storytelling we've got since Blood and Guts, it feels like Tony and Mina are winning this tournament. Based on like the story they've told was Tony coming into the tournament, based on the story they're telling was Tony coming out of Blood and Guts. Their entrance this week, which was fantastic. It feels like this is essentially their tournament to win at this point. And some people are probably going to be upset with that because they're going to make it seem like you're over pushing Tony. But when you got something with Tony where she's got the Midas touch at this point, everything she touches, it hits. It's gold. Bro, that promo she cut on Collision was incredible.
Yeah.
Like everything about it, her stopping Arkady mid conversation. I'm sorry, it wasn't Arkady, it was Lexi, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, interrupted Lexi, put the hand over the mic and was like, hold on. No. Got her bars off. That last bar of like, nah. Don't pray to God for help. He's a big fan of our work. I was like, nah, dog. Tony is one of the top talkers in wrestling, not just his company, in wrestling. And I mean, when you think about like putting Tony with Mina and their match that they had at Forbidden Door, them attempting to do Mina's dance in the press scrum after Forbidden Door when Mariah is still there, and Tony was completely lost, and they somehow figured out a way to add Mina's dancing and like what Mina excels at into this, and it worked perfectly. They still had perfect chemistry. The Tron that they aired with it, with them both doing the Carmen Sandiego fedoras and trench coats, that was fire. It's like, nah, they've got something with Tony, and you got to run with this as long as you can. I know, like I said, some people are not going to be happy with that, but again, the issue here is if I felt like Anna and Ty were better than the team of Tony and Mina, sure. But I'm just never going to agree with this idea of just push somebody because they've been here for a long time and
It's
we
their
feel like
turn.
they deserve it. It's their
Mhm.
turn. Yeah, I'm never gonna agree with that. And like again, I don't want to make this they're terrible wrestlers. I think
No.
that both of them have a ton of potential. I think that Anna has progressed a lot since she came back from Japan. But there's so many women in this division right now that if you ask me, even if just as a singles wrestler, I'm pushing them over Anna. I'm pushing them over Ty. And that's not a knock against them. That's
It's
just the
not.
truth of the matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more towards what the division is now than a knock on them. It's like, dog, Athena's here, Mercedes is here, Tony's here, Jamie Hayter's here, Queen Amanada, Thekla. Like it's a long list of super talented women. This is not a knock on them too. It's just like the other women are excelling. If like Phil's describing, when these championships, we have to establish these championships, and we're going to have to let these champions go and add some legacy and some prestige to these belts. We're going to have to let them go out and have these long matches and establish what this brand is. Seeing the match that Tony and Mina had this week against Rio and Alex Windsor, like that's the stuff we're going to need to continue with this championship, with these belts. And like, you don't have to worry about Tony and Mina. They got it.
No. It's the same thing that I was just describing with Mercedes and Bailey. Like, if you put the belts on them, you know you've got something in them and you can push them as the face of this division. I think you can push Ty and Anna as the face of the division eventually. Definitely. But I don't think you can do that right now where they are in the division. Like, even when they came out, for that match, there wasn't this like crazy reaction for them. I don't think, and even the finish of the match, like Marina looked fantastic throughout the match. I thought Mina's finish was great. Her, putting her in the mother's milk and then kissing the forehead like night night, see you later. I thought that was great. And it wasn't like the crowd booed. It wasn't like boo, like we wanted them to win. Most of the people upset that I saw were online.
Yeah, no, everybody in the crowd or at the show is like, we love this. This is kind of the way to go. Yeah, I think because there was a lot of people that were like, this is it. This is the end. I'm giving up. I'm out of here. I can't believe they would do this team like that. But I was just like, just because they lost in the tournament doesn't mean that's it. Like they can still fight for these championships when they're established and be contenders in this division. You're going to need established tag teams that are in here to fight. And this could be a story for later in their time when 6 months, 7 months, a year and a half or something from now, when they do win those championships, we're going to look back at this and be like, you guys overcame that adversity. Look at me getting back to that. There's going to be, this isn't the end of the road is what I'm trying to say for them.
No, but I think as it stands, there's been so many other wrestlers that have stepped up. And that was a big part of my pitch for why I wanted Penelope to get a win here, because Penelope has stepped up big time in the last year or so. She's been incredibly consistent. I mean,
like,
when you think
Penelope over the both of those women, and like that's still not a knock against them.
No, and I mean, just like how stiff the competition in this tournament was. I mean, bro, a lot of people wanted Jamie and Amanada to win their first round matchup.
That's a fact.
And they lost in the first round. I thought them losing in the first round was more egregious than Anna and Ty losing, even though I understood why they lost, because it made more sense story-wise for Sisters of Sin to advance.
Exactly, and it helped with the blood and guts thing. They were trying to double sell these two different kind of divisional things with the stuff, and I think that worked more towards the hatred and the blood and guts than them moving on, especially if they're not going to win. But like, they're going to be contenders in this division. It's just not over. There's so much more that kind of goes with it. But the people that just fantasy booked themselves into not only feel that they think they were going to win in the first round, but they thought they were going to win the whole thing.
Which I don't see how you would have thought that. Like I said, I never thought they were going to make it out of that first round matchup. And I didn't see them winning the whole thing because I just don't feel like they're ready to carry this division. Like I said, I think they can, but as like the first champions, I didn't know how you could think that was possible.
Like, I hear y'all, we've talked about this before. AEW fans love to see that story. They love to see, we saw you from the beginning. You started on AEW Dark. You started in this place and ascend up to being champions. Like, I think that is a story to be told. Right here isn't the time, though.
No, I didn't see it there. Of course, coming out of this, there was the Fightful Select report that Anna Jay's contract could be expiring soon. And so people also took that into account with some of this. And like, again, from Anna Jay's point of view, I can see why she would be frustrated. She's been here for a very long time. I do think like there are some women here where, like we were talking about with Private Party or Top Flight, I thought that there would be a bit more forward momentum for them. I mean, we're still waiting for Willow to get like this signature win. Yep. I don't think she has gotten it yet.
I don't know if she's close to it at the place that they have her now, you know?
Yeah, and I think the same thing with Aminata. I think people are waiting for her to get a signature win. I think we're just now getting the push that we've been hoping for Statlander for so long. And so there are a few women there. And I mean, with what Anna did, going away to Japan and coming back better and like working, I can see why she would be frustrated. But man, the division has gotten so much better. It's like it's hard, man. And I could see her leaving. And I'm not even sure like that's the wrong move for her, because you know I am of the opinion a lot of if something's just not working out and you feel like you know somebody doesn't see your worth, then go somewhere else and prove them wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of the question I was going to get to. Do you think she fares better against this division we've just been talking about? That's fucking hard. These women are some of the best in the world. Or does she go and try to fight against your homegirls in Fatal Influence? Like, can she skip the line in NXT, or does she blend?
Nah, like a thief in the night. No, we won't let you in. No, just like,
I knew it was coming.
No, but I think that she has a ton of potential. I think with where NXT is currently, I think that she could fit in perfectly over there. I think with her look and everything, she would fit in. And I think with like where their women's division is, like I could see her going over there and within the first few months being in the conversation for like North American Championship.
Agreed.
For example.
Yeah.
I think she would fare better in some ways over there. The only place where it might get a bit spooky for her is once you get to the main roster, because she could easily do well in NXT and then get lost in the shuffle. But again, you just never know. She could go over to NXT and catch a lick, and all of a sudden, once she's gotten hot and she's gotten something, it could work out. I mean, like I said, with the right motivation, she could go somewhere and prove people wrong. And I think she's got so much potential. I've always thought that about Anna. From the second they signed her, she's got like everything that you would expect, like look wise, like the entrances, the presentation, everything. She's got that part down. I think she's gotten better at the wrestling. I just think for like it's not really anything about, like I said, her at the moment. I just think that the women's division in AEW is so stacked currently, that it's kind of hard to move up into. Because I mean, like there are women on TV. Sorry, there are women that are not on TV right now that I think should be pushed further. Like, yeah, I would like for Anna to get her due, but like I say all the time, where's Deanna? I think Deanna not being on TV is more crazy than them not pushing Anna.
Agreed. Because like what she could still represent if they give her a fucking shot, and she could be slotted into the tag division, any of the title division. She could be number one contenders and represent something right now. Like she doesn't need help. She don't need nothing. They just send her out there and it'd be she'd knock it out of the park.
I mean, and I think that's the biggest knock against her at this point. Like, bro, as much as we're like Athena's in the talk because she was in this tag tournament, she's had stuff on the main show this year coming out of All in Texas. Bro, Athena should be on the main show proper at this point, and she's not. And that's why I'm like, before we get to conversation about what Anna Jay is overdue, like, bro, we have Athena in this company. We have
And Athena's better than everybody. She's not just like good. She's like great.
Yeah. We've got Athena in this company, bro. We've got Deanna here. Bro, we've got Serena Deeb in this company. We got so many other, like, there's so many women that are not on TV that I would have more questions about, like, where's the momentum for them before I get into a, like, y'all are doing Anna J dirty conversation. I mean, I think people forget when Anna initially came back from Japan, she got to do quite a bit with Mariah before Tony came back.
She got some high profile title matches on TV.
Yeah. The other irony in this that I kind of chuckled at, when people were saying that they did not get Nixon and Miranda wanting more than 3 minutes, I was just kind of like, well, guys, that was a sign, not just the first round matchup. That was a sign that Anna and Ty were not going to do anything because they were giving them basically the short matches against jobbers on Collision. I'm like, bro, like, if you wanted to see more out of that tag team and you wanted to see more progression out of them, the 3 minutes you should have maybe given them more than a 3 minute match. You should have maybe given them more to build on Collision. And so even if when they did lose in the tournament, you still had that stuff on Collision to build on. They didn't even do that with them.
And they were the signs are all there. They're essentially telling you guys, like, this is what Megan and Marina are doing on the way up to that match. That's probably what they're gonna do in the match. And that's what they did in the match.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I saw this a mile away. I was like, I don't know why anybody. I don't know. I mean,
people were upset, Phil. People were mad.
Bro, and I mean, the other thing that, before we move on, because we've been on this for a minute, the other thing that doesn't fare well for Anna and Ty is that it's not just that there are some people that are not on TV that I think should be on TV. When you even think about some of the women that are available that they could sign, bro, we could get Dakota over there. We could get maybe Shayna over there. Like, I don't know, man. I appreciate that they have a fan base.
Have been cooking on this. Maya and Hyan have been cooking on the show, like,
bro. Like, I appreciate that Anna and Ty have fans, but, like, bro, it's gonna be harder and harder to justify just moving them up the ranks in the tag division just because you think, like, they've been here a long time, so they deserve it. Like, I don't know.
I do think wrestlers should be rewarded in that situation of, like, you've been here, you've been on the grind, you did this, but this situation doesn't have to be the situation. And I think they will, if they, end up staying here and end up kind of weathering the storm, they will be rewarded. It's frustrating as a wrestler, man. I know they're probably both like, fuck, we advocate for this more than anybody. We're on the front lines. We've been doing this tag team thing and we've kind of got the short end of the stick, but, like, wrestling, one, like I said, never owes you anything, but it will give you something if you keep working at it. I know that's probably not shit, but, like, it's life.
Yeah. Friend of the show, Lyric, at one point tweeted, like, one of the best things we could do for women's wrestling is reward in ring. We can't, like, that should be a deal breaker. And if it's not a deal breaker, like, we got to have, like, a real conversation. And she's right. And, I don't think it's one of those things where, if somebody's not, like, a perfect wrestler, don't ever push them. Because, again, somebody can always catch a lick and get hot. But, again, we can't just be like, all right, we'll push them because they've been here for a minute and, like, we feel like they deserve it. Like, you can't. Like, that's just like when Harley got hot and people are like, well, she should just beat Mercedes. I'm like, well, let's back up a little bit. Let's hold on. hold on.
Let's hold on. That's what I've been saying this whole time, because I'm like, there's a world where Megan and Marina win these belts, and they're not the best wrestlers in the division, but what they represent is something more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So, man, look, I hope it works out for both Taya and Anna. I think that they're both, I think that they've both got a ton of potential, man. I just would like to see them progress and get a bit better before we start going. They have to treat them better. They got to put the titles on them.
It's the issue. It's a thing that AEW is going to continue to run into if they continue to have the same schedule of we have these 2 TV shows on the week and that's it. Like Ty and Anna are wrestlers that need fucking reps. I'm going to continue to scream it to the sky. There's nowhere for these women to be in front of a crowd doing matches, trying to get better, doing promos. If they're just wrestling on AEW whenever they get the opportunity, they got to get out there. We see what Anna did when she went to Japan and got them reps. She came back better than ever. Yeah. There's so many wrestlers in the entire company, not just the women's division, the men's division too, a bunch of wrestlers that they sign them at this point, sign them early in their careers, and then they get no reps. So you can't get better if you're just wrestling for training and the rare opportunities that you get on TV. They're going to have to send these people outside.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the big missing ingredient here with them is that they do need to get more reps. And, Anna started getting them outside the company. But I mean, I think that's a big part of what happened with Marina as well. Marina is getting the reps by doing the stuff in Defy and doing other things. And you can see the improvement. You can see the improvement in ring. You can see the improvement as a character. And I think that that's what, Anna and Ty need at this point. And again, that is part of the irony. If you go back, that's why I was saying, I don't know that Nixon and Miranda were exactly wrong about the 3 minutes. I just think it's coming from somebody that people are not going to take it seriously from because they don't have any leverage.
A lot of controversy here with this women's division these last couple of weeks when they're trying to establish what these championships are and establish what's going on here. But I think the women have been working hard, the ones that are doing it, and I think there's a lot of places to go. There was that main event this week on Dynamite with Mercedes and Red Velvet, another one, Phil. We were just talking about people that are set up and gonna do something in the future, and I think Red Velvet's another one of those players.
She's another one that I would like to see on the main show more. She's so good. And talk about somebody that has, like, every time they give her an opportunity, she has knocked it out of the park. She has gotten better and better and better. I still think about all the time, like, they had to put her in that spot in the Shaq match with Jade and Cody and Shaq, and she really was kind of the breakout performer. Like, it was really her and Jade were the breakout performers in that match, and every time they've given her stuff like the TV title, she's done really, really well. And I mean, I do think that they kind of shortchanged this lineal and interim thing with her and Mina. I would have liked to have gotten to that match between her and Mina, but man, giving her the main event against Mercedes in Boston, and I thought she was fantastic in the match. I thought, Mercedes is Mercedes, but I thought that she looked very good in that match. Yeah, give her more opportunities, man.
They have a lot of similarities. They kind of have the same stature, same build. They kind of work the same kind of like balls to the wall type of style. I'd like to see them wrestle some more. And I'd like to see, like Phil saying, Red Velvet on the main roster getting more opportunities because I think she's ready for it. She's coming off an injury, you guys. Like, she's been out for some months and she came back and cooked. I liked everything about it. And I think that the division is going to continue to get better. It's just reassuring what we're saying here. There's going to be more women that are coming back with heat, and it's just going to get even, the division is going to get even deeper as these months go along.
Yeah, man, that finish was big lung blower spot off of the top rope.
Got good.
That has been one of the best additions to Mercedes' moveset is that lung blower that she does, like doing this big super lung blower off the top rope. I thought that was crazy.
Show's hot.
Yeah, really, really good main event. Now.
Mercedes, she about to do it again later today. We're gonna get into Full Gear here. She is just generational.
Yeah, send us in your super chats. That's the best way to get your chat read on this podcast. You can send us a humper chat, humperchat.com/Fightful.
I just love saying generational because every time Phil says it attached to Ricochet, Ricochet's I don't know how Ricochet's in everyone's mentions. Like, it does not matter. He'll be in like if it don't even concern him a lot of the times. He's just like like somebody will say something, he's like, shut up or something. I'm like, this guy Ricochet's hilarious.
Yeah,
We'll get into a few of these super chats and number chats and move forward. The other Mikey V says, do y'all think someone debuts in the gauntlet tonight? I don't. I think that with the announced field, I think they're going to work with the announced field. And because I don't know if it's going to get too deep in this match with Bobby Lashley starting. I think he's going to start knocking fools out pretty early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting how they're going to start that match as well. We'll get into that when we talk about the preview, but I don't know that I see a debut. I think with just like this style of match, I don't think so. I think if it was a battle royal, maybe, but
there was talk like this on, there was a casino something in the last couple of months and people were asking about debuts. I'm like, is there anybody out there, Phil, on the free agent or something that we know that would hit hard? Like, I don't really know, like, if there's anybody kind of sitting in the wayside that we'd be like, oh shit, I can't believe this person's here. That's not signed, you know?
No, I don't think that there's a free agent. No, I think most of the free agents that I think could be interesting for something like that would be a woman. I think there are more interesting women that are free agents.
Agreed. That's what I'm thinking. Like, for men, I'm like, I can't think of anybody that would come and like you put them in this position. There'll be some people that would be cool, but I don't think anybody that is super needed.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Mikey V. Meet Norma says, my 114 Wizards are playing the Bulls tonight. I'll skip that for Full Gear. Let's crank. What surprises are y'all expecting? Return/debuts. Kind of the same thing. I don't know if there'll be any. I mean, returns. I could see.
I can see
the
some
homeboy.
returns.
Yeah, I could see the homeboy. Big Swerve definitely returning tonight. I think he's been
possibly MJF
teasing some things on the internet. MJF with like Tony was talking about this week. Very excited, waiting for him to come back. I think returns are more likely than debuts.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's going to be good. I think the division's going to really get back together. The men's division there's some things going on. I think in the next couple weeks, it's going to get back to where it needs to be. Appreciate that, Meet Normus. T-Rav says, went back and had to rewatch Gotham City video. I'm dead crying. Why was this nigga singing in Shaq's bed? I have mad questions about the video.
Bro, I'm telling you, I died laughing at that part because the bed he's in is huge.
It's gigantic.
He's in this huge bed, and it's just like this single lit candle in the bed with him. I'm like, what's happening here, bro?
The direction of that just kills me because it was like, and then he'll have a candle in the big ass bed too. Like, it'll be great.
Yeah, and this is like 90s, like everything about it, 90s aesthetic. The silk pajamas, like this is bald R. Kelly, like very funny video, bro.
This is bald R. Kelly kills me.
Yeah, bald and goatee R. Kelly, very different.
Bald goatee Kells was on some shit, brother. I'll tell you. This was bald R. Kelly. Is hella funny. Ooh, appreciate that, T-Rap. And then Orion Ben says, Ruckus played 4D chess with the new Mina song, Haters.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I thought that this was I thought that entrance was really great.
Yeah.
Using the beginning of Tony's theme to build into the new theme was also really smart. Yeah, I just think it's so cool every time you can see a wrestler's just got it. And Tony is at that point where she just got it. Everything she does works at this point.
That's why, like, what you're talking about with the tag team championships, like, people will be mad. People are going to be upset. They're thinking here goes Tony again with another championship. But, like, if you want to establish these belts and you're going to guarantee they're on TV and featured, give them to Tony. Like, they're going to be somewhere in the vicinity of television, big moments, pay-per-view matches if Tony's involved. So just let her be involved for a while.
Yeah. And even if they don't win, I still think even the idea of Tony and Mina chasing after the tournament is still interesting. So
absolutely.
They're going to be in the mix no matter what.
Mm-hmm. That's all of our super chats. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. We've got a few more Humper chats. We've got one from Tony P. Says, I think Anna stays. TK needs to give up the ROH pin. Final battle build is ass. TK should dictate some kind of mandatory talent exchange for talent that need it. SmackDown was good, but you see who created the show. I think Chris and Monet will main event tonight. I think that they could, but based on what I think might happen after the cage match, I think it's probably not going to.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Anna's gonna do, but I think like we said, there's a good chance she could end up in NXT, and I think that she would do well there. I think she could end up going back to Stardom, and there's potential there. I think she could stay put in AEW, and she could eventually make her way up the totem pole. But it's gotta be tough right now, man. You've got women that are out right now, like Sheeta's out. Like you've got. And again, this division is just so stacked. It's not what it was in like 2019, 2020, man. It's just so different.
Nyla's back there somewhere. Like they
Nyla,
got heavy hitters back there, brother, that could still be in here.
Nyla is 1,000% a woman that's in the same category as Deanna for me, where it's like, why is she not on TV? You've got something in this woman. Like we still haven't got like a babyface Nyla Rose run with this company, and I think they've got a ton of potential to do that. She is just so naturally funny. All of her internet stuff is funny. Every time they give her a chance to do something on TV, even the smallest thing, it ends up exceeding expectations. So. Yeah, Thunder Rosa, like saying in the chat, is also out. That's why I'm like, it's tough, man. It's a stacked division.
That's why even when I always laugh when people are like, "When's Britt Baker gonna come back?" I'm just like, "Where's Britt Baker gonna fit in, you guys?" Like, I mean, like what she represents, still, she probably is gonna get a big pop and all that coming back, but then she's gonna have to try to compete with all the women we just named, and like. It's stacked, you guys. We named a bunch of them. Some are out, some are in, some are in the back. Like, if you're competing with 10, 15, 20 of the best women wrestlers in the world, and we still got some people coming from Stardom and Tokyo Joshi Pro and like all these different collaborations with other companies, like it's intense out there, Phil.
Yeah, Redmond is saying in our chat, Britt and Sheeta tag team is the move. OGs that think they've been forgotten about. I would agree with you if Sheeta and Shuri have not been telling us multiple times on the internet that they want to be a tag team, and they've been a tag team in the past. Absolutely not. I am not going for any conversation around Britt and Sheeta when that is teed up. No, Sheeta and Shuri is the move. I'm sorry, bro.
Phil was like, yes, but also no, I can't.
Absolutely not. The idea of Sheeta and Shuri as a tag team in this division, and we're talking about Britt Sheeta, no way. No. No way.
Yeah, if I had a choice, there's definitely a side I would be on. So, yeah, it's just, again, we're just saying how deep and great the women's division is. That's the main thing.
Yeah, Shuri has been talking about coming stateside as well. I don't know, man. I think the appeal of having Shuri, especially after they aired that package for her at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, they did the big debut for her all in Texas. If you're gonna bring her back in, nah, dog, that's the tag team that you got to go with Sheeta. I don't know what Sheeta's status is, but bro, nah.
And the homie just mentioned the final battle and how the build hasn't been the best. That's, you know how AEW does. But we've been talking about women. They announced the main event of Final Battle. This is going to be the ROH Women's Champion Athena, one of the best women's wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers in the world, going to be taking on another person that has been, if we're talking about collaborations between companies, if we're talking about other people that are kind of lingering around the division, Persephone, like, is she, like, if we're talking about potential and people that could have championships and people that could be involved in the division, she's high up there. So it's like, this division is intense. I don't know what that final battle match means, what's going to happen there, but I think that's going to be dope.
I mean, yeah, that match sounds great, but that's the story with all of these Ring of Honor pay-per-views at this point. Like, often the matches are good, and I rarely come away from a Ring of Honor pay-per-view feeling like I wasted my time watching it, because the matches are going to be good. The wrestling is going to be good. But yeah, the build is what it is. I have been saying for the longest, I think that Tony should let somebody else book Ring of Honor. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, when Brian was asked earlier this year, would he be interested in booking Ring of Honor, and he was like, absolutely, but I don't think that Tony is going to allow me to do it.
Now there's the head, the last guy you got to get through, and that's always going to be Tony Khan. I feel like even if they had somebody fully booking and into it, that's going to be the thing that they kind of run into. So, but yeah, do you feel the same way about this Full Gear build, Phil? Because I kind of feel like AEW, we know the pay-per-view is going to hit, but has the build to the pay-per-view gotten you as excited as it should?
Only because I think the weekly show has been pretty good for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I think the weekly show has been better than it was like maybe a month or two ago. Because at one point I was like, a lot of this is fine, but it doesn't feel like I'm missing much.
Right.
But I think with Blood and Guts and like the tag team tournament and some of the other stuff we've gotten in the build to this, which we'll get into card first in a second, but some of the stuff on the card, yeah, it kind of feels like retread, but I don't think the build is terrible. Yeah, a lot of retread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it hasn't been bad. Like I think that again, the pay-per-views are going to be great, but a couple of the rematch stuff is like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. I kind of there was a little bit of a lull period. It felt like when football had just got kicked in and things were happening, and I feel like now they feel like there's a point to all the stuff that's happening, and I actually feel more excited about this. Is the most excited I felt about an AEW end of year than I have in a while, because I feel like the last couple of years, besides the Continental Classic, like the December stuff could just kind of feel like it's there. Like sometimes World's End for the past like 2 World's End has been like, we could have maybe not had that show. I don't know what you guys are doing. And this time it feels like there's a little bit more stories going on.
Yeah. We've got maybe 2 more Humper chats, but they are in relation to Full Gear, so I'll save those. We don't have any more super chats, right?
No.
Let's run through. Like, we got the announcement for WarGames. We have the full lineups at this point. So yeah, let's hit that right quick before we get into AEW Full Gear and get up out of here.
Also on the WWE front, I saw that last night they announced a traditional Survivor Series match, but it's going to be on SmackDown and not on the pay-per-view. Why did they put on the fucking pay-per-view?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing. The build to it is very much reminiscent of traditional Survivor Series matchups. And with the wrestlers that they have on both sides, it makes sense for this to be on the show. I mean, you've got Sami Zayn as basically the leader of the babyface team. I don't know. I have no idea.
Very confusing. Super confusing.
But yeah, it seems like they're gonna run with Stephanie versus Nikki Bella for the world title. Big shock win. Maxine is the new Intercontinental Champion. Did not see that coming. I knew with the third matchup, like the logic would lead you to believe, okay, they've done this match 3 times. Maybe Maxine will get the win. But I was like, beating Becky though? But yeah, but I think that's been good for her. I think Becky is inevitably going to win that belt back. Becky basically doing her best Trump impression with her tweets, and just the way she talks has been hilarious. Her promos for the last few weeks have been really, really great. Yeah, can't say enough great things about Becky Lynch. She's so great.
Becky's one of the most giving top stars in history, honestly. Like, she gives people that don't deserve to have wins over her for big belts, bro. Too.
And people are like doing this Becky Hogan thing, and at one point, like just what she's done this year since she's been back. Like, look where Lyra is since she's not been working with Becky. At one point I thought Becky versus Lyra was one of the best WWE feuds of the year. And now she's kind of in limbo with this Bayley thing. Yeah, I don't know. but yeah, I think we're getting to an Becky and AJ match somewhere down the line. I'm not sure where. But that does lead into the build to War Games because they're the last two members of both of the teams. They sorted this Charlotte and Rhea conflict out pretty quickly. It's like they established this as, oh, well, Charlotte doesn't trust her. And immediately I was like, okay, but I feel like her friendship with Alexa means more to her than not trusting Rhea. So that doesn't matter. She's going to end up on the babyface team. So at this point, the babyface team is Rhea, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. Final member is AJ Lee. That was set up on Raw this week with AJ afterwards having a private conversation with Rhea. Then we got on the heel side, Kabuki Warriors, the new team of Nia and Lash Legend. And of course, Becky Lynch is the final member.
Lash Legend going immediately into a fucking War Games match. What a lot of fucking pressure going on there.
Good for her.
Yeah, super. That's what I'm saying. Like, to be able to mix it up with some of the best of all time in WWE, actually, in this match, and to be a part of this big match, I think is a big deal for her.
Yeah. I think that's great that she's in a prominent spot already. You can say what you want about pairing her with Nia. They've paired a lot of people with Nia, but I think at least it's good that they have something planned here. It's not just pair with Nia and then they do nothing. At least it's leading to something with the War Games match.
Giving Nia having a heater is always funny because she's supposed to be the heater, but I mean, life is life.
Yeah. But man, again, I think that in the spots they've put her in, she's looked effective. Like the big lariat she's been throwing in some of these beatdown segments looks really good. So yeah, man, look, just, give her opportunities, man, and see what you have in her. You don't have anything to lose at this point. I do think that they've rushed along with the build to this women's match in some ways, but I at least hope
I feel like they could have fleshed out the Rhea and Charlotte stuff a little bit more, but they were, like you said, they're immediately like, oh, just kidding. It's fine.
Yeah, here's a cinematic segment. We're moving on. I at least hope that they move in a different direction with some of these wrestlers moving forward after this. Like, I think at this point, you've got to make Charlotte a singles wrestler again. You've got a big void for challengers for Jade coming out of this, and Charlotte makes the most sense. You've got Alexa as well. I still think that they've kind of dropped the ball with Alexa since she's come back.
Agreed.
I think they could have done much more with Alexa. Like, when you go back and look at that pop Alexa got in the Royal Rumble match, it's kind of surprising they haven't done more.
Yeah, because it's like, I understand what's going on. I don't want to say Charlotte's hiding behind Alexa, but she attached herself to Alexa for a certain reason. And all around that, I don't think that was the move. Because like Phil's saying, I think Charlotte as a singles competitor just represents so much more. Like, even if she's not a champion or involved with the championship, just being in a feud and having matches with her means way more than her being like kind of buried away in a tag team. And Alexa too, I think, like you said, she had that big gigantic pop. A lot of wrestlers, a lot of the upcoming NXT people or women's on the rise, they're all like, we love Alexa. We want to have something with Alexa. And I think she's kind of being lost away too in the tag team.
Yeah. So I understand some people that are like, it still is meat on the bones with them as a team, but I don't know. The women's division is looking kind of scant with Jade as champion. You need some challengers for her. You need some big babyface challengers, especially because you don't have Bianca. But yeah, that's the women's War Games. The men's War Games. The boy, I cannot say how much this fucking Vision thing has jumped off the rail for me. Going from Braun being very assertive and taking a stand, putting Seth on a shelf, and now he's just in the background for Logan. I just don't understand that. It's not like Logan is doing anything that's really lighting the world on fire to justify it. It just feels like Logan's up front because he's a big name. And boy, that is one of my least favorite things that WWE is doing right now. And you add Brock to the mix as well. Drew is only person I think out of this joining the division that makes the most sense because he has animosity against everybody else on the babyface team. Hates CM Punk, he hates the Bloodline, so he hates both of the Usos, hates Roman Reigns. Yeah, so it makes all the sense in the world for him to be over there. And I think the way that they got around this of him being suspended was also a good little swerve. But boy, I do not care about Logan Paul being a part of this team. I don't care about Brock. Like the heels other than like those three of Bronson, Braun, and Drew. Like I'm just like, whatever.
And there was a little bit of controversy last night, Philip Lindsey, with your homeboy Logan Paul, who did his old, I'd like to call it a Dwayne Johnson impression by having a couple of his little bullet points written on his hand there. And people saw it and people were not happy about it. People are like, this is the guy you guys are saying is the greatest new wrestling, blah, 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 and all that. And they put him on the Summer Jam screen. I'm like, this is the issue with, like, I'm on this. I wasn't like, that Logan Paul. I was on the side of, this is why these fucking scripted promos and all this bullshit doesn't work, because fools have to remember bullet points and all these things. And that's what made me frustrated more than him having it on his hand.
It is very funny, the timing of it, because of course people were reacting to that clip of Stevie Richards saying that Logan is better than everybody in AEW, and then you have this happening where again he's not lighting the world on fire with any of these segments. I think all of these segments he's been in since he joined the division have been bad, and then you have this with him being caught with like lines written on his hand. It's like, what are we doing? And the funniest thing about all of this is the reason why Stevie Richards is saying Logan Paul is better than anybody in AEW is character. And I think the complete opposite. I think the big hindrance for him, for me at least, has been that the character and the promos aren't good. The matches are usually hot. I usually enjoy his matches. Even if they do feel very rehearsed, I do think for the most part his matches deliver. But the character hasn't hit for me in a while. It still feels like Logan Paul playing a wrestler.
And he was, this all started off the backs of Stevie Richards talking about Kyle fucking Fletcher. And Kyle Fletcher has been tearing it up in the ring and on the fucking mic. So I'm like, well, what were you? I don't know. What are you talking about? Where is this coming from?
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Well, yeah, at least the setup from the stuff that I saw from SmackDown, the clip of Cody's promo, I thought Cody's promo was good. The beatdown segment and Cody's bust, I thought was also good. The babyface team, star-studded. At one point, it was so star-studded, people thought that John Cena was going to be the final member of this team, which I did not see him being in a War Games match. He's got two appearances left. You think he's gonna add a War Games match in the midst of this? It seems like. Well, not even seems like, it's been announced at this point. We're getting a rematch, John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio at Survivor Series. I kind of feel like they're just going to probably put the belt right back on Dom. Wouldn't be surprised, but
at all.
But yeah, the babyface team has come together on Raw. They did what they've done multiple times now with the last segment of the show, big beatdown segment. All of the stars are popping up to come back in for the save. Sets up yet another Roman Reigns return. Roman, big star again, gets big reactions every time he comes back. But boy, we've done this so many times with him at this point. He came out with a sleeve on his arm, which I was like, is he dealing with an injury? Was he dealing with an injury while he was out? It seemed like he was kind of favoring that arm a little bit too, so I don't know. It could be nothing, but yeah, the babyface team,
they're teasing Roman and Brock again. Who wants that?
Yeah, that was the big stare down at the end. They tried to do the credits are rolling, show's over, then hit Roman's entrance. I think we all expected Roman, so wasn't that big of a surprise. But then they did the Roman Brock stare down, and boy, I could not care less. I'm sorry. I just could not care less. But yeah, the babyface team at this point is CM Punk, the Usos, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. Big star-studded team. I do think that this has the potential to be a fun match based on the level of talent that's in it. But you know,
Definitely.
the WWE WarGames match is what it is. You're gonna you're gonna expect like a more PG version of like the WarGames stipulation, which I've at this point just accepted.
Yeah, it's all about like the stories and the stare downs and the kind of shenanigans and people being locked in the cage, and you can talk shit to them before you get to the cage. It's not really about this intensive thing where everybody's going to be bleeding and they're going to have all this stuff. It's just like, we're at this point now and we're going to do this match, and it's fine. Like you said, it's star-studded, so it should put out a good match. But I think they could have did a little bit more to get us with the heat. But, you know, that's kind of where wrestling is at this point.
Yeah, but lineups are set. Survivor Series will take place next week, San Diego. Card is essentially set. We've got 4 matches announced.
That's a card for WWE.
I think it's 4 matches. We've got the women's title match, Intercontinental title match, and then the 2 WarGames matches. They might add another match next week, unless I'm forgetting a match, because usually it's a 5-match card.
Interesting concept on the John Cena front, with him having a handful of matches left in his career and Dominic Mysterio getting 2 of those matches. Like, shout out to him.
In Madison Square Garden, this is his last Raw. You did a multi-man match. I thought that was an interesting
3 of these matches. Shit, that's right.
Yeah, he did a multi-man match. That was an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they did that. I don't know.
I hated the segment of oh no, we're not gonna do the title match because we're gonna do it at Survivor Series, but let's have a house show match. That'll be fun. Like, no, dude, do something. You got John Cena here. Do something of significance.
It's Madison Square Garden, and I mean, I think for the most part the show was good. The crowd was great. Madison Square Garden.
They were hot.
So, you know, crowd was hot. I thought that the crowd gave it up for some of the moments of the show. But yeah, I thought John Cena, this is his last Raw. You're going to do a multi-man match? It's interesting.
The last Raw ever, and when we look back, I wonder what was John Cena's last Raw. We're going to see him in a 6-man match, you guys? All right. Okay.
I don't know.
WarGames next Saturday.
WarGames.
There's a lot of people going to be in fucking San Diego. They got like 30,000 or something, right? Good for them.
Yeah. But tonight we've got AEW Full Gear in New Jersey, Prudential Center.
Dirty Jers.
Usual discourse around how long AEW cards are. Tony Khan reaffirmed during the Ariel interview that he likes to give people their money worth because, you know, these aren't cheap shows to watch. And hey, I appreciate that. And I don't mind the show being long as long as like we're getting good matches. If it's just a long show and it feels like it's a lot of filler and I feel like I'm bored with it, maybe. But the shows are long, but if it's worth it, then I don't mind.
That's what I'm interested about with today, because we were talking about it a little bit. There's a number of rematches on this show and some things that we've seen before. Are they going to be able to keep our interest for the whole show with matches we've already seen before? Like, how would they keep us interested in this?
I think the best thing about currently the build is that they've had so many stories coming from early in the year, like the Death Rider stuff, that, you know, we're getting to the climax of these things. I hope with this show that we're wrapping up a lot of these stories and we're ready to do a reset after this pay-per-view. Because I think you've got a ton of possibilities, especially with the Death Riders. You've got a spot where you can do the reset. With the Don Callis family, you've got the same thing. Mark Briscoe. And there's a lot here on this card where you've been doing this long enough. We don't need to do some of these matches over. Like, you know, wrap this up in an interesting way and move on to the next big feuds to end the year.
Yeah, no, you're right. This is kind of like the put a bow on it pay-per-view of some stories that we've been telling for the last months. We're kind of wrapping up. We could wrap up like John Moxley potentially could be out the group, the blood and guts stuff surrounding the Death Riders. Like this could be the pay-per-view for that. And I think with that kind of finality in it, that could add some intensity to some of these matches.
Agreed. Yeah, we've got a 13 match card counting the tailgate show. So starting with the tailgate, we've got the team of Boom and Doom, Big Boom AJ, QT Marshall taking on Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. I mean, I think this is the usual Big Boom AJ showcase spot. I'm pretty sure him and QT are going to pick up the win.
I'm another match I'm kind of interested in because they're the minute 14 of 15 of that minutes for Big Boom AJ, and like, are the big spots going to hit the same as they did a year ago? I don't know. I'm interested to see if they do.
Yeah. Max Caster, Anthony Bowen, and the Bang Bang Gang will be taking on Big Bill, Brian Keefe, and the Outrunners in another one of these big money matches. $200,000 is on the line in this 4-way tag match. I don't know. I feel like Bang Bang Gang is going to pick up the win here, especially after that promo from Collision. Boy, have I missed Juice Robinson. What a guy. Hilarious guy. Very much miss having Jay White on our TVs, but yeah, I think Bang Bang Gang is going to pick up the win here.
Yeah, it feels like with momentum and the story that they've been telling on Collision, Bang Bang Gang makes the most sense winning here in this spot. Interesting that they're having they have the $1 million money match later in the show, and they're another 200,000 early in this thing. Yeah, super interesting. Just like you're saying, having Juice back makes so much of a difference. His personality and the way he works just adds so much to the division. Really like the addition of Ace Austin in their crew too. Like them featuring Ace more has been great.
Absolutely. Then we have the team of El Sky Team, Mystico, Mascara Dorada, and Neon taking on the team of Kazuchika Okada, Konosuke Takeshita, and Echizero for the big CML World Trios Championship. This was, of course, set up on Collision from this week. Very funny reaction when Okada won the match to set this up and get the shot at the Trios belts. And we got Don Callis on commentary letting him know that his partner would be the Konosuke Takeshita, and his face the entire time was hilarious. Yeah, I think Sky Team is going to retain here. I think there's going to be a miscommunication here, and we're probably not going to get the effective turn here. But I can't see them giving away the Takeshita turn and Okada stuff on the pre-show. That's probably going to happen later on Dynamite. But I do think there's going to be a miscommunication, and Sky Team is going to pick up the win.
I see everybody wanting them to do the same bit that they did from the last show, have this be the last match of the pre-show and go into the full show. And I'm like, with the guys in this match, I could see them definitely doing that. I don't know if they're going to want to run back the same play 2 months in a row, though.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely Okada looking around like, bro, we got 40 wrestlers in this family, and that's the guy you want me to team up with? Like, why? And it kind of feels like at this point Don is doing this on purpose. He keeps like instigating things between these two guys. But yeah, I did feel very good about my agenda of wanting the one-on-one match to happen at World's End. I feel pretty good that that's gonna happen now.
Yeah. That feels like what this is leading to. I think they're going to use this match to really hammer that home. I think by the end of the year, we'll be seeing these two wrestle, especially days, a week or so before the Dome. Like, just feels like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, just for Okada being able to walk into the Dome as world champion again for your last match with Tanahashi, I have to assume that's going to play into things very soon.
Yep.
We got the team of Hook and Eddie Kingston taking on the Workhorsemen.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty sure Hook and Eddie Kingston are probably going to pick up the win because they've been trying to give them some steam. I think that this works for what they want to do, putting them together. This gives Hook something to do. This gives Eddie a way to continue to knock a little bit of that ring rust off. The more and more we see Eddie, the better and better he looks. And so I think this is fine. Workhorsemen are a good team. I think they're a good team to work on this show. And good for them. It's good to see the Workhorsemen getting a spot, even if it's just on the pre-show.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Anthony Henry, who was out with the injury, who's back.
Yeah.
I think the Workhorsemen are tremendous in spots like this where they could just go out there, do their thing, have a little fight with them. Getting Eddie Kingston, we got to continuously keep building him because we got to get him back in a main prominent position. Still trying to establish what him and Hook are. I think this is a good place for all of them. Yeah, Hook and Eddie Kingston with the victory for sure, though.
Definitely. And then we get to the main card. We got John Moxley taking on Kyle O'Reilly in a no-holds-barred match. Kyle O'Reilly really came out of the build for Blood and Guts and the Blood and Guts match itself, feeling like a big, massive star. I think that he has benefited incredibly from this. And I think with that in mind, it makes a lot of sense for Kyle to beat Mox.
Absolutely.
I don't think that Mox is going to win, guys. I'm sorry. I don't think that Kyle is going to win, guys. I think that Mox is going to win. And I think the giveaway is the fact that it's a stipulation match. Because the story here has been every time Mox has to fight this guy one-on-one and it's a straight-up match, he loses. Every time he can't just get away from him and he's forced to tap, he loses. He's been on a bit of a losing streak since the Hangman match. And, of course, that's building into what looks like a mutiny for Death Riders. Mm-hmm. I think with the way that I think Pac versus Darby is going to go, I think Moxley is going to win here with the help of the Death Riders.
Yeah, I like so many things attached to this Mox and Kyle O'Reilly thing. I think Mox coming out of losing his world championship and linking up with like all the hoopers in AEW, he's just like, let me fight Kyle, let me fight Roddy, let me fight all these underneath guys that I want to progress up and add them into the story and make them mean a little bit more. Kyle coming out of, like you said, the build to and Blood and Guts. He ended the match. He came out bloody. He got one over on Mox. He's got one over on Mox a couple of times. I love situations like this, Phil, with Kyle, where we remember how awesome Kyle is. Like, because I think people tend to forget because he gets a little bit lost in the conglomeration stuff, and he's funny and charismatic, and you like, oh, Kyle's funny. But when he really gets to it, you're like, oh yeah, Kyle's one of the best wrestlers in this whole company if he's given that opportunity. And when he locks into that mode with his heart and he's fighting and he's bloody and he's striking and all that, Kyle is legit one of the best guys in this whole thing. But yeah, I kind of feel the same as Phil, as Mox is still going to pull it out because there's a stipulation attached to this and he's going to have some kind of shenanigans up his sleeves. But he's not long for this group, man. Like, the photos that everybody's been posting on their socials, everybody's looking at Mox kind of crazy. Like, it's coming.
Yeah, he's because I do think the split is gonna come, and I think it makes a lot of sense that it's probably gonna be part of the lead in to World's End. But yeah, I think that Mox is gonna pick up the win here. We've got a 4-way tag team match. The winning team will choose the stipulation for their semifinals match in the Women's World Tag Team Championship Tournament. A bit convoluted. This was added last minute. I don't know that we necessarily needed this. I don't know why they didn't just add one of the semifinals matches to the
matches. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we're trying to add more to this storyline of Tony and Mina seeking revenge after Blood and Guts. But like I said, a bit convoluted for my taste. I would have preferred for them to just put one of the semifinals matches here.
And I'm it's like, I just wanted the tournament to be the tournament. I don't think we need stipulation matches. Yeah. So it's like, well, that part of it is kind of, what's going on here? It kind of seems like convoluted. It's a lot going on attached to it. Good to see the ladies on the pay-per-view. I think I would have preferred they just had the 2 matches on the pay-per-view and we get the finals announced on the pay-per-view maybe. But the last couple of weeks with all these ladies involved, Blood and Guts included, we've seen them do some super fun stuff, and I'm sure they'll do it again. But it just seems a little bit, seems like a lot. Who's winning this, Tony and Mina?
Yeah, so we got the team of Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, versus Tony Storm and Mina Shikara. And of course, the last team is Megan Bain and Marina Shafir. With the stipulation, I feel like it makes more sense for one of the heel teams to win.
Sisters of Sin, they like that hardcore shit.
It kind of feels like this is probably the way that the Sisters of Sin set up the advantage going into their semifinals match against Willow and Harley, because I do think that the Sisters of Sin are going to move on to the finals. At this point, I think the finals will be Tony and Mina versus Sisters of Sin. So I think Sisters of Sin are probably going to pick up the win.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. I think if anybody needs something, a stipulation added, Sisters of Sin makes the most sense. So yeah, I'm going with them too.
Yeah, I think it adds to partially stuff going into it. Like, you got to assume that Tekla is going to play a part in this in some way. She's probably going to play a part into how the Sisters of Sin advance to the finals as well. So, but you know, it could go the other way as well. From the Blood and Guts match on, it has seemed like Marina has gone into everything with a plan. So it would make a lot of sense for her and Megan to pick up the win as well.
Right.
But I definitely think one of the heel teams is going to win.
Agreed.
We've got Darby Allin taking on Pac. If you remember, Pac made his big return in the coffin match. He's the reason why Darby ended up losing that match. He has been a thorn in Darby's side since he's been back. He will not let this guy live. One of the funniest things this year is when Mox and Darby are having this conversation in the prison, and they're talking through the glass, and Pac just appears behind him and starts beating him down. And the whole time, Mox is just looking off into the distance. Like, yeah, I think that we're going to get a shock win here. I think Pac is winning. I think Pac is going to beat this guy clean, because really, from Pac's point of view, he's got to be looking around like, this it? This is what you guys are worried about? Darby Allin?
Yep.
I came into this company as a contender for our world title. I came into this company having matches with Hangman Adam Page, who is our current champion. I came into this company with a big win over Kenny Omega. And this is what we're worried about? You guys are worried about Darby Allin? Slight work. I'm going to get this guy right on up out of here. And I think that's going to play into some of the stuff with Mox. Like, you struggled with this guy, Darby, and then Pac comes back and just beats him. And that's also why I think Mox is going to win with help, because I think,
gotcha. Because he's going to win without help.
I think Pac is going to beat him straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like the story of what you're saying of Pac coming back and being like, you guys are letting this guy terrorize your life. And every time I see him, it's up. Like, I beat his ass in the jail cell. I set this guy on fire, essentially.
Yes.
And I laughed at his burned body. Like, I don't even know why you guys are acting like he's anything.
And that promo this week that Pac cut, oh my God, bro. Let this guy talk more. Like, this, he is so good, man. Like, yeah, like that line of him, like, bro, I left your charred body laid after this match, and yeah, after this one, I'm gonna get you up out of here too. Like, this is what we're worried about. Charlie M, you did all this for Charlie M. Get this guy in.
See, this is where I keep being like, Pac and the Death Riders, he's kind of a little bit lost away in there, because when you hear a promo like this, you're like, this guy needs to be front and center on everything. He could be the man around here with how he talks and how he gives it up. His thing of essentially like, I don't even know why they let Darby in the ring with me. Have you seen me and have you seen him? Is like, no, This guy, this is real. He's spitting.
Yeah, I do think that Pac's can pick up a big win, and I don't think losing hurts Darby at all. At this point, Darby's Teflon. Yeah. He can take a loss here. Yeah. I think Pac needs to win a lot more.
He does.
So yeah, I definitely think that Pac is gonna pick up a big upset win. We got Kyle Fletcher defending his AEW TNT Championship in a no disqualification match against Mark Briscoe. Stipulation here is if Briscoe loses, he has to join the Don Callis family. This is one of the rematches on this show that I don't know why we're doing.
Yes.
I don't know that we needed a third match. I think that there was so much finality to their last match, and I enjoyed that match for what it was. I didn't think we needed a third one. And when you just think about logical wrestling booking, when it's the same thing we talked about with Maxine and Becky earlier. Usually when they do the three matches like this, that especially on the babyface side, it tends to mean, all right, babyface is going to win. Especially also you added the stipulation, leads me to believe that Mark should win. Also, you got a little bit of foreshadowing here that Kyle has said that, he's on his way to breaking the record for the most title defenses for the TNT title.
Mm-hmm.
Once he drew attention to that as a heel, it makes it feel like, okay, he's probably going to lose. My gut is kind of telling me, though, that they're not done with Kyle as TNT champion.
Mm-hmm.
But all the logic kind of leads you to think that Mark should win. So I'm really torn on this.
Yes.
I don't know that it really makes sense. I mean, I think you could do some funny segments with Briscoe and the Don Callis family, but the shelf life on that is really short.
It's not long. Yeah, that's the only thing I keep thinking of. I'm like, they could do the thing where Mark goes into the Don Callis family, but the shelf life is not like it's gonna get old pretty fast of whatever the bid is. Just what Mark Briscoe represents. My only thing is like, we talked about this before. Mark Briscoe needs more victories too. Like, we can't continuously put him. If you just have Kyle beat him 3 times, what the hell does that mean? Like, how do we feel about Mark Briscoe as a wrestler if he can't get over the hump that is Kyle Fletcher?
I don't love the idea of him losing 3 matches to Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's such a beloved babyface in this company. I think a lot of people would like to see him get a big win. And
right.
It's tough though, man, because
it's a tough one because I kind of feel like Kyle's gonna win still though.
I do, and I think there's still more you can do with Kyle, especially with what we were talking about earlier with Kyle O'Reilly and how I feel like Kyle is on the cusp of a big push. And I think it makes more sense for Kyle to be the guy, Kyle O'Reilly, to be the guy that beats Kyle Fletcher because you've got such a baked in story there, especially with the Adam Cole stuff as well. Like, I think it'd be much better if it was O'Reilly that won the TNT title. Maybe there's a story you could build around that. He could be the guy that eventually challenges for that title and then also gets Mark back out of the Don Callis family. But again, at that point, you're giving Mark 3 losses to do that. I don't think that makes a ton of sense.
With the lineage and how the TNT championship kind of moves, this is dumb, but Mark Briscoe could beat him and then Kyle just beat him and get it back. Like, that's kind of how the TNT championship has worked and functioned as a title. I don't like it at all, but I mean, if we're getting around this, they had to add this Don Callis family member stipulation for some reason. I guess that's a way to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, and the other part about this, other than I didn't necessarily need this rematch, it's a lot of Don Callis family on Dynamite. It's a lot of Don Callis on our TVs, and some of it is very entertaining. Don is a very funny character, I think, but it's been a lot of Don on our show, buddy. I don't know.
I was on the it hasn't been that bad side because Denise is like, Don Callis again. But this week, Phil, I was like, oh,
he was in a lot of segments, man.
I'm like, Don's again. He's back and he's talking too. I'm like, all right, you guys, we got to draw the line here somewhere.
Yeah, that's also. And so once you add the stipulation with the Don Callis family, it's like, I don't know if we needed to add this to this card, guys. So, I don't know.
There are other heels on the roster. I just want to say that out loud.
Yeah. I'm not certain on it, but I think I'm predicting that Kyle is going to retain. I don't love that outcome, but it's so tough to call. I mean, this could really go either way.
The story is telling me that Kyle's going to beat him. Like, nothing tells me that Mark Briscoe's leaving as champion besides like them not being in the Don Callis family. So I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I'm going with Kyle Fletcher, though.
I just saw something I thought was funny. I'm not going to give any attention to it, but whatever. Very funny. I think, I'm not certain on it, but I think I'm going to go with Kyle retaining here. I would like it if Mark picked up the win. I think that this has gone on too long. I don't think we needed that.
We shouldn't be seeing this match tonight is where I'm landing.
Yeah, agreed. You got the Casino Gauntlet match. for the inaugural AEW National Championship. Very interestingly, the first entrance in this, based on the matches that we got from Dynamite, 2 great matches, by the way.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun with Shelton versus Speedball, even though the finish made a lot of people upset. That turned into some reports coming out. But the first entrance will be members from Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. The idea of them going head-to-head, one-on-one to start this match sounds a lot of fun. I would assume that Bobby Lashley is going to move forward. But, of course, those are the most advantageous spots in the match because they put over on Dynamite that because it's a gauntlet match, if somebody wins by pin early in the match,
that's it.
That eliminates the chance of getting in a match later on and getting a chance to win the belt. My prediction is the same from the beginning. I think that this is Ricochet's match to win. I think it makes all the sense in the world to put that belt on Ricochet. Starting Dynamite with Ricochet talking shit to the crowd, and he's still trying to yap on and on the microphone, and Bobby's like, enough of this guy, and he's still on the microphone. He's like, Bobby Lashley, get off me, leave me alone. Ah!
I think if we're really gonna abide by what they said this championship's gonna be, and we're gonna, it's gonna be in CMLL and the Indies and AEW and Japan and all these different things, Ricochet was immediately the thing that sprung to my mind. It's like, if we're gonna actually send a wrestler to other companies to defend this championship and add some prestige to it, it makes the most sense. With them adding the call and what Tony was pitching this week of that's going to be the first AEW championship defended on Ring of Honor, this makes the most sense for Ricochet to be the one to be the first champion, the first national champion in AEW, just because of what he represents and what he could do. Lashley, I think he's not
be mad at
it. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm not going to be mad at it. If they're not going to make him the world champion or the beat Okada, then there's another championship that he can win. And I think Lashley coming in here and just throttling a bunch of fools and taking that championship is going to be really cool and a way to establish that belt. If Lashley's the first guy, he's a fucking world champion. He's a big star. It's going to mean something.
Yeah. But when I think about all of the people here, that it would make sense to do like a traveling champion for what the concept of that belt means. The idea of Ricochet as a traveling champion is incredibly intriguing. Even the idea of like Speedball somehow getting a win and Speedball being a traveling champion also sounds like a ton of fun. So you've got a lot of great options. The Speedball and Shelton thing was interesting because like I said, really enjoyed the match up till what it looked like was a miscommunication. I know some people were worried because Speedball took this crazy bump out of this super kick, and it looked like, did he knock himself out? Is that why Paul Turner stopped the count? But according to Meltzer, of course, take this with a grain of salt, but Meltzer seems to think that, the finish was supposed to be the super kick spot. And because Speedball did such a crazy bump out of it, it looked like, okay, this is just going to be the finish. Let's wrap it up. But I guess Paul Turner didn't hear Shelton try to call for the audible, and so he stopped the count because he was looking around like that's not the planned finish. Glizzy guy in our chat is confirming that Sean confirmed that report. So it seemed like that's what it was. That was a miscommunication. Like I said, some people were worried about Speedball, that he had gotten knocked out on that. But I think he just took a really crazy sell, and it was a convincing sell. And the sell was so convincing that you could have just stopped the match there. And Shelton tried to call audible. Paul Turner just didn't hear him. And so he stopped the count early, and it was clear that wasn't supposed to happen. Shelton picks him up, does the knee in the corner, suplexes him, then does a super kick again, and he picks up the win.
That's the only part that got me is he still beat him with the kick. So like,
I wasn't like mad at the finish like some people were. It did feel like something went awry there, but it didn't bother me as much. It seemed to bother people on the timeline.
Yeah, there was There's some extracurriculars that people aren't thinking about that are involved in this. A TV wrestler on national TV that has a bunch of elements that are involved in this match and what's going to happen in the future of these matches. Can't just say audible. Like, remember they were going with they should have called an audible for the Acclaim that one time, or they should have. Audibles aren't real, you guys. You can't call that's a fucking rare thing in pro wrestling, especially in TV wrestling. They have plans. It's more than a lot more people are involved in this match than just those three guys there. Like this match isn't determined by Speedball Mike Bailey, Shelton Benjamin, and Paul Turner. There's other people in the back watching it. There's people's agents involved in this. There's so many things that are involved in this that take just like, let's change this finish because it looked good. So that's where kind of the miscommunications happened and what they are. We all want wrestling to be called as a shoot. We all would like for it to work a different way, but it just isn't.
Yeah, we got more discourse around that, and people are trying to blame Paul, and it wasn't his fault. I think that because based on that report, it seems like he knew the finish to be one way, and so he's not going to count to 3 on that and then get blamed for stopping the match early, because we've already discussed what the plan was. The agent has already come in and discussed what the match was, so I wouldn't blame Paul for that. And then, there's, of course, people again trying to make it seem like, Sheldon hurts indicator politic and
awesome shit.
And we had them leaning into the speedball stuff that was reported earlier this year. MVP was saying things about him on commentary that I'm sure he was doing intentionally. So yeah, I just think some people read too much into this, and this whole idea that the referee should count everything as a shoot. That could go awry very easily as well. Like I don't know.
The referee has a job, dude, and he probably was thinking, "I'm Shelton Benjamin, not about to get me in trouble. I don't care who he is." You know what I mean? Like, if I do what he says, I'm gonna get back there and get fucking yelled at and all these things. It's easier for Shelton to deal with it because he was trying to do whatever was happening. These are behind the scenes shit that we shouldn't be involved in, but that's what we're wrestling.
Yeah, everybody's an expert, and it's like, oh well, he should have just done this, and it's like, yeah, well, you're not in the business. Like, let's relax.
Yes, agreed. Still was a super fun match. That bump was crazy. Seeing Shelton is still that. Like, he still has a certain kind of energy that feels great to see him against young guys like Speedball and just still in the mix.
Yes. Yeah. My prediction is Ricochet.
Yes. Yeah. Rico or Bobby Lashley for me.
We've got a trios match for $1 million. Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express will be taking on the team of the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander. Really cool to see Josh Alexander in the mix here. I don't think that he's had a ton to write home about since he's joined this company. I'm glad he's in a main storyline. He sometimes feels like he's lost in the crowd and the Don Callis family, and he's such a phenomenal wrestler. When they give him chances to wrestle on TV and they give him spots, he usually does well. So I'm glad he's on pay-per-view. It's just I kind of wish they would give him more off on his own.
Yeah, like, this match is gonna be insane. Like, it's the Bucks, Kenny, Jurassic Express has been going insane. Josh Alexander's a tremendous talent, but I'd kind of I wish this was like a one-on-one Kenny and Josh Alexander match. Like, just like the stakes would feel like a little bit more. Love the story that they've been telling. The Young Bucks being broke and lucking into these big money matches, the $1 million match. There's a lot of motivation kind of surrounding it. Them still kind of having this thing lingering of the Don Callis family. Okada keeps trolling them every moment that he has.
Decision time.
Are you guys going to join? Yes or no? What's up? And then Kenny being involved. I like all the story elements involved in it. And I think that the match is going to really bang. So I guess that's really all that matters. Bucks and Kenny. No, aren't Bucks and Kenny going over? Yeah, I can't see Kenny Omega losing a match.
Yeah, well, Bucks and Jurassic Express. I'm sorry, Kenny and Jurassic Express are probably
Kenny and Jurassic Express.
Bucks,
I can't see
Kenny on the other team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think Kenny and Jurassic Express are gonna win here. I think we're gonna get more of the build to what I assume is the Young Bucks face turn, because as we've seen, is the pendulum between the Young Bucks and FTR since FTR joined this company. Of if FTR is heels, Young Bucks are baby faces. If Young Bucks are heels, FTR is usually baby faces. And
What is
I
that?
do think because if you're going to do the matches between those two teams, it makes sense. One of them has to be a heel. Like you got to play into the dynamic of heel versus babyface every time. And so,
Right.
FDR is in such a good place as heels, and Young Bucks as heels has kind of run its course. I'm ready for them to turn babyface. They've got a good story in place. I really like that coming out of All In Texas. A big part of Kenny Omega losing to Kazuchika Okada is this is the first time in any of his matches with Okada that he hasn't had the Bucks in his corner. And of course, like when he famously finally beat Okada, the Bucks had him up on their shoulders. And so I think this is leading to Kenny Omega eventually becoming world champion or challenging for the world championship in 2026. And he probably will have the Bucks in his corner.
What a story to be told there. He gets the big victory. He couldn't get the big victory before because his friends weren't there. And if his friends are there, then he could get the big victory. It's a really good story to be told.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I do think, Kenny and Jurassic Express are going to win the big $1 million pot here. And we're probably going to get the setup for more Young Bucks, Don Callis family stuff.
Yes.
Speaking of FTR, we got FTR versus Brodito for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. FTR, I feel, is going to pick up the win here. I think this is one of the easiest to predict here. Brodito has had a fantastic run, one of the most pleasant surprises of 2025. But yeah, it just feels like it's time. It feels like it's time for FTR to pick up the win. I do think we're probably moving forward to a rematch versus Cope and Christian after this.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed at the beginning of the year that Bandito and Brody King were going to be one of the breakout tag teams of the year, but that's kind of how it works when you got two awesome competitors kind of thrown together to make some magic. They've made a bunch of magic. Their matches are going to be looked back on super fondly this year. What they did for this division, they helped reinvigorate this division with some of their victories and some of the energy that they brought to it. So I think that's been great. But yeah, I think it's time. I think with the end of the year and where we're leading, we got Continental Classic coming up. We got all these kind of singles things that I think we need Brody and Bandito as singles guys in. I think it's the time right now for FTR. And I see a lot of people upset at what you said is going to happen, Phil, but I think that's what's going to happen. Like, we're leading to an FTR Cope and Christian match, and we need to have the championships on the line.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I agree. I think that definitely I could see Brody coming out of this and being in the Continental Classic. He's been in the Continental Classic every year. So I think he's probably going to parlay this run with Brodito into a run in the Continental Classic. Probably going to see Bandito in the Continental Classic as well.
Oh, I hope so.
And yeah, man, look, FDR has just been so much better as heels. They've been really clicking with Stokely as their manager as well. I think out of the build to this pay-per-view, some of the most entertaining stuff has been their segments with Brodito. The segment with Bandito's Abuela ringside, and the hilarious optic of Brody punching through that wall. And even the stuff with not Speedball, but Steamboat was good. People were on Steamboat's neck this week, which I'm just like, guys, it's okay.
Let an old man be an old man, please.
yeah, but yeah, it just feels like it's time. FDR is going to pick up the win here.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we could get Metalingus after the match.
Yeah,
this could be where Cope returns. Maybe they get some defenses for FTR under their belts before they come back. I don't know.
Now, I could see that match at World's End, maybe. So they could could be the night to bring them back. But I feel like we might have some other returns. So I don't know if it's needed at this point.
Yeah, because the only thing is, do you think Cope and Christian are going to beat FTR for the belts?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, we could see Cope tonight, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if we see Cope tonight. But either way, FDR I think is winning.
Right. Yeah, and I think what you're saying, it might make more sense for them to get a couple of defenses and establish them as the champions before we get immediately into the Cope and Christian stuff.
Yes. We got two more matches. We got Chris Statlander defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Mercedes Moné.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is Statlander's match to win. I think based on the build to this, which I think the build has been pretty great. I mean, the puppet segment that was divisive, I think, really helped to nail home this point that Statlander is like, stop ignoring me, stop looking past me like you can go off and do all these other things and wrestle for other belts and have all your celebration segments. I'm not the same wrestler. Just because you beat me 2 times doesn't mean you're just going to come in here and get an easy win and add my belt to your collection. The video package that they aired with like the numbers and they had like all of the stats for Mercedes lined up against Statlander's stats was really good. The video package that they aired on Wednesday with Statlander saying like, focus on me, like you're focused on all these other things, you're looking at all these other directions, focus here. And I think that's definitely going to play into this match that Mercedes hasn't been focused. She has been everywhere else other than focusing on just being the challenger for the AEW Women's World Championship. And Statlander has made the point all along that, hey, that's great. You're looking at the past where we've had 2 matches. I'm looking forward. I'm looking for as the future of this division, as the face of this division.
Yeah, I love this story. They're kind of continuing the story that Mercedes told with Tony, in that her focus is on everything else, Phil. She's been still going for other championships. She's been traveling all over the world, fighting all these other women. And Stat comes in and is like, my focus is on this championship right here. I want to be the best AEW Women's World Champion there ever was. All I want to do is have this belt. I don't care that you have 13 belts. I got this one, and you want everything that you're doing in your life is to get to this belt, and there's no way that you're going to beat me. And Mercedes, I like the AEW Women's World Championship being her Achilles heel a little bit in the beginning of her run, of like every championship that she's went for, she's beaten these women handedly. She's taken over promotions. She's done all this. But the one thing that's been eluding her for the last year and a half has been the AEW Women's World Championship. And it's kind of the boogeyman in her life. And I think it's going to continue here. And it's going to say, like we're saying earlier, add to Stat's prestige and being the women's world champion right now. Like, I beat the 2 biggest women in our division coming out the gate. Who's next?
Top 2 women on the PWI this year, getting wins on them in the same year is pretty big. And I think that they need to do that. I also think there's some significance to 13. Mercedes has been saying that's her goal for the longest, to win 13 championships. I do think that that means something. I do think that now we've hit 13, we're going to head into the downfall. I do think she's going to lose here. And I do think there's a very, very good chance that she could lose the TBS title at World's End. And if it's me, based on the build we've had so far, based on the big boogeyman, so to speak, in the division that she's been avoiding, I think it makes all the sense in the world for it to be a big shock win where Megan Bain beats her for this belt.
I mean, the energy that Megan's been moving with, it would make a lot of sense because she's kind of been the boogeyman of the entire division. Like, when Megan came into the Blood and Guts and she just started wrecking shop, and the way that all the women, including the women that were on her team, were looking at her, like, I think that if you're going to do anybody that Mercedes doesn't have enough for, or with the shock win, I think Megan makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think you've got to start the singles push for Megan as well. Yeah, and if it's not Megan, I think Willow Nightingale makes a lot of sense. I do like the potential of a story here of Mercedes looking past people on the way that she's beat, and she's just like not focused on that at all. And I like the idea of all of these women kind of coming back and getting a win over her. You've got a chance to do the same thing with the Ring of Honor television title as well. You still have lingering stuff with her and Mina. Mina has not gotten her win either. You got a lot of options there with some of these belts. But I do think that Statlander needs to win more here. I think you need to continue to cement her in this reign. It's way too soon to take the belt off of her, and I don't think that you need to make Mercedes world champion right away. I do think that there's a very good chance. I said this a few months ago. I think there's a very good chance that when she finally wins it, she's going to be a babyface.
Agreed. I think that her downfall and losing all those championships is when she becomes babyface and then becomes the AEW Women's World Champion. I can't see her being AEW Women's World Champion with all these belts. Like, that's not going to be, it's going to play into that story that Tony and now Stat are telling of, like, this has to be your only focus. And that's going to be the story going into her winning the belt.
Me neither. And I've been saying all along, I do not want them to book themselves in a corner with her holding multiple titles for this company, holding a world title and the TBS title and ROH television title. Once you got to try to get out of that corner and book her to lose, I would not do that. I think once she wins the world title, that should be the main focus for her in this company. Even if she still holds some of the other belts, I don't think you want her to be holding multiple belts in the same company.
Just muddying up the divisions. That's just too much. But yes, Chris Statlander is winning tonight. And I think in impressive fashion. Of course, they had a match last year at Full Gear. So it's kind of a full circle moment.
Yeah. And I do think this has a ton of potential to be match of the night.
Yes.
I don't know that it will be the main event. I think that it could be the main event. I think it makes more sense with some of the story going into this world title match for the cage match to be last. But I think that with the year that Mercedes has had and just how good their last two matches were, you could easily give them the main event here.
I don't think they will, though. I think that cage match
I don't either.
Last. I wish they would. I think they would knock it out of the park, but that cage match is going on last, the world title.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. I also kind of think that Mercedes is going to drop a lot of these belts heading into the Owen next year. I still am early predicting Tony versus Mercedes as the finals for the Owen next year.
Yeah. I think that downfall for Mercedes is about to begin, though. It's starting.
Yeah. What both of us are assuming is the main event will probably be Joe versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship. I don't see a world where Hangman loses here. I just don't see it.
No. There is no one.
I'm fine with the rematch because you really want to cement Joe's heel turn. But yeah, now doing the cage match and you've already gotten Hobbs out of the picture, and now you have the cage to keep Shibata from interfering. Yeah, Hangman is going to win here.
Definitely. I think I like what the story surrounding it more than Samoa Joe winning. Like, I think the ops going heel and we're getting that great match with Hangman and Hobbs from the other week. And we're getting that great match with Shibata this week. I think everything that it's done for the motivation and the characters in the ops is done. It's been so important for the ops because we need a lot more stronger heels in on the AEW's men division, and I think this has helped them go to that. But yeah, I can't see a world where Hangman Adam Page doesn't leave the pay-per-view tonight as the world champion. I think there's so much more for him to be attached to. I think there's so much more for him to do as world champion, and we haven't really got to it yet.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Why does it look like? Why does it look
weird,
like? Looks like on my screen, my camera is froze.
Yeah, it's just like a line through your head or something. Something is being weird. I can hear you though. It says, oh yeah, over here it says something's going. No data detected while recording locally for at least one of Phil's feeds. Please ask the user to refresh the page if the problem persists.
Here, hold on a second.
Broken. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went on, and I don't know where we're going. But yeah, Phil Lindsey will be back, I hope, very soon here. He's refreshing. He's back in the studio. He's back in the saddle. Possibly. Yep, that's you. That's him.
Yeah, I don't know what StreamYard's been weird today. I don't know.
Super weird.
It just froze out of nowhere on my screen, and
Mhm.
I don't know what just happened there, but whatever. Yeah, I think we both are in agreement here that Hangman is going to retain. I do think that the match here is just to continue the heel turn for Joe, and then it's more to set up the next challenger for Hangman.
And are you under the impression that the next challenger for Hangman Adam Page is Swerve Strickland?
Yeah, I think with the fact that the last big cage match that Hangman was in was against one Swerve Strickland at All Out, I think that's how this show is probably going to end. The cage is going to be going up, and that's probably when we're going to hear Who's House, and Swerve is going to be standing at the top of the ramp, staring down at Hangman to set up him as the next challenger. I do think that Max is going to throw a wrench in everything, though. Because as of now, that's a face versus face matchup if we do go that route. And I do think that there's a very good chance Max is going to use his contract to set up either a triple threat or something. But we're going to see Max very soon.
Max is lingering. Yeah, he is. We need Max back, honestly. I think to, like you said, throw a wrench in this division and throw a wrench on what's going on in this men's division with this championship. Yeah, a lot of intrigue coming out of this. I think them using this match as the setup for the future of this stuff is where it's really going to hit. But I think we're going to get a strong match. We're going to get a strong heel Samoa Joe coming out of this and a really fun cage match. But yeah, Hangman Adam Page is winning this.
Yeah. I think the other thing that makes me think that Swerve is coming, it's not just the tie to the cage, but again, their last big match was in Chicago, Illinois, at All Out. I do think that is part of the build to World's End. It's probably going to set up Swerve versus Hangman. Possibly a triple threat match.
Like they got the connection with Samoa Joe too, who's out there. They had the triple threat match in the past. Swerve beat Samoa Joe for the championship. A lot of connections here.
Yep. I do think we get a returning Swerve tonight. Swerve has been hinting at a lot of things. He's been tweeting pictures. I think that means something. I'm just not sure if we're going to see Max tonight. I could see Max showing up, but I'm not sure. I'm almost 100% certain we're going to see Swerve though.
Yeah, I think they might stretch out the Max thing. I feel like Swerve was going to show up before Max does, but Max is definitely coming. Max is definitely showing up. I think there's going to be they've been talking about him a lot recently, and I think it's for a reason.
Yeah. That is our Full Gear card. Seems like a good show. I know, of course, we're going to have the discourse about the build and all these things. That's usually the case with AEW pay-per-views. Again, discourse about, the show's long. They haven't really missed with pay-per-views this year. I think the pay-per-views have been good to great all year. I expect the same thing here. I think this show is going to deliver. Yeah, I'm excited for this show. Again, not as excited for some of the matchups because we've seen them multiple times, but I do think the show is going to deliver. I do think the matches are probably going to be good. I still think at this point, Mercedes and Statlander are going to steal the show. My early pick for match of the night.
Yeah, AEW has just knocked it out of the park so many times with pay-per-view. Like, even if you haven't watched a TV show, a Dynamite in fucking 4 weeks, and you're just going to pull up the show, you'll be satisfied because that's what they do with these pay-per-views. And they have some of the best wrestlers in the world. So that's always great to see. Catch me and Denise later on the live watch along for the whole thing. I don't mind it being long, even though, because I live on the West Coast, and so it's still going to end at like 10 p.m. for me. But yeah, should be super fun. Looking forward to this card and looking forward to some surprises maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. That is all of our topics. We're going to run through some super chats and humper chats and get out of here.
Yep.
I haven't figured it out because we've been doing like reviews like closer to the pay-per-view. I almost thought about doing this episode tomorrow instead of today so we could just run through the pay-per-view. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll record a review before Saturday. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you guys.
Something will be figured out for sure. But yeah, let's get into a few of these super and hyper chats and get up out of here. The homie Deontay Soignier says, Grapsody fam, Beauty Saturday, AEW pay-per-view day. Been loving all the indie wrestling I watch. Pro Wrestling Revolver, House of Glory, Progress, Future Stars Wrestling. Off today, got food and drinks ready for the great night. All love as always. Appreciate you, Deontay. You're watching some good wrestling there. You're always watching some good wrestling. I hope that you have a good time watching Full Gear tonight, and I hope that them snacks and drinks are bomb.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Deontay. Shout out to Shotzi. Now that you're talking about it, it's the new House of Glory Women's Championship. She won at the big event that was here last night. I didn't get a chance to go because I had other plans. So, but yeah, shout out to her. So it sounds like there was a fun show last night.
Where you was at? You said you didn't watch SmackDown.
My dad called me. He's been one of his friends and like some family. Their daughter had her senior show downtown at Columbia College, my alma mater.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he wanted to go, and he didn't want to go by himself. He was like, "You go with me," and I was like, "Yeah, sure."
That's what's up.
And so I went to that. So basically, like family stuff.
Mm-hmm. Classic. Appreciate you, Deontay. The homie Ben Sifner says, so many of these old wrestlers are full of it. Hurricane Helms is the latest. He at least already has a job with the Colts.
What Hurricane did?
I don't know, man. He's always wild. Did you see that tweet of Mark Henry? Shout out to Mark Henry. I'm a big fan of Mark Henry. They retweeted Persephone on ROH, and they said, I can't wait to see her get a shot on the big time.
I did, and I saw a lot of people screenshotting that, like, stay away from her. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I saw a lot of shenanigans. A lot of shenanigans over there,
to say the least.
Yeah, I hate when people act like, oh, well, she's good, but come over here and be on a bigger stage. It's cool what she's doing on CMLL as well. Like, let's chill out.
That's what I'm like. Even if you just like ignore the AEW stuff, which I see that you're doing, CMLL is selling out their arena like every Friday. Like, she's on the big show, you guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying?
CMLL is quietly having a very good year. Like, with like some of the events they've had, Mystico has had an incredible year. They just had that Linkin Park collab that sounded awesome. The merch that they were selling from it looked cool. I don't know. CMLL's having a good year. I don't know.
I think she's doing fine. I think she's at the big show, especially like being a Mexican and family and friends and what that represents to be a big star at such a young age. Like, I think she's fine.
Yeah, and big match coming up against Athena at Final Battle. Should be a banger.
Looking forward to it.
I also laughed at that thing that Mark said about Joe Hendry. That was pretty funny. Yeah, maybe he should just come over here after John loses his retirement match and just lay down for this guy. I'm like, bro, what? That's all we got for Joe? Like, y'all had him go out there and get squashed at WrestleMania by Orton. Like, maybe he could win some matches too. I don't know.
That him doing that with John Cena would make the fucking Randy Orton WrestleMania thing look like he won the world title at WrestleMania. Because why would you?
Why would you do that?
Why would you forcefully make yourself look like a fucking loser on your debut? Is what he says. He's like, that should be the first thing they see is you go down and say, I know I don't want to have a match with you, John Cena. I just want you to pin me. What? Like, what?
That's why I'm like, you could have done something like that in Madison Square Garden. If you weren't going to have him in the tournament, he couldn't just come out and challenge John in Madison Square Garden. Something. I don't know.
And John beat him in an actual match, not him just fucking lay down after he's already retired.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Legends, we love you, but everybody can't be a booker. There's a reason. Appreciate that, Ben. And then Joe Lacoin says, bonjour from Canada. Great show as always, gentlemen. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. Shout out to all the Canadian homies. Got a bunch of them up there. Y'all are amazing. Appreciate you tuning in, Joe. And thanks you for your contributions today.
Yeah, appreciate you. I keep saying I got to get to one of these shows in Canada. I've never
That's a
actually
fact.
been to Canada, so I definitely want to go to one of these AEW shows.
You were just saying that in a group chat somewhere recently this week, and I was like, damn, I agree with Phil. I got to get to Canada too.
Yeah.
That's all of our super chats. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions.
Yeah, appreciate you. We got a few Humper chats here. We got 2 from Van Twin Blade. He says, Paige Joe, he's picking Paige to win. And Stat versus Monet, he's picking Statlander. Brodito FDR, he's picking FDR via Shenanigans. Kyle Mark, he's picking Kyle. Man, a lot of our picks. Gauntlet Surprise, Switchblade. That is interesting. Switchblade popping up in the Gauntlet could be great, and I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Man,
I see.
Switchblade picking up the win could be awesome.
I like that. I'm not mad at that at all.
But we haven't had a status update on him in quite a while, so I'm not sure.
Tony gave one like 2 months ago, and he made it seem like it was still going to be some time. So I don't know if we'll see him today.
Yeah. Van is picking Lashley to win the Gauntlet. Mox Kyle too. He's picking Kyle. 100K match. He's picking. He's predicting a Bucks turn on Josh, but Kenny and Jurassic Express to pick up the win. For his prediction for the Fatal 4-Way, he's saying my heart says Tony and Mina, but my head says Bane and Marina. For Pac Darby, he's picking Darby to win. Boom and Doom versus Roppongi Vice, he's picking Boom and Doom. For 200K 4-Way, he's picking Castor and Bowens. CMLL Trios match, El Sky Team, Hook and Eddie to pick up the win against Work Horseman.
Yes. Almost the same stuff. A couple of different ones.
Yeah, from Hassan, he says, "What's good, Grapsody? I think Cena just wanted a match with JD McDonough. He got a bright future. Not feeling the full gear build, but I've been too busy to really follow. I'll still watch. I know I'll enjoy the matches. Happy Thanksgiving." Yeah, I keep forgetting that Thanksgiving is next week.
He just reminded me.
Like, I've been getting a lot of emails, and like people are trying to I've been trying to schedule some stuff for next week, and like even when I was trying to think of like maybe we could record a review for this pay-per-view next week, I'm like, man, it is a holiday week, man. Like,
it is a holiday,
and there's already like a bunch of stuff being thrown at me Monday and Tuesday. So yeah, it feels like the beginning of the week is going to be really busy.
I keep forgetting. You just reminded me again. I was like, oh yeah, that is next week. That's in a few days. Like it's not. I haven't been thinking about Thanksgiving at all. 0%.
Yeah, my dad basically confirmed what I keep saying about like what makes Thanksgiving the better holiday than Christmas. I can just show up and leave. My dad is partially funding my sister's Thanksgiving dinner. He's throwing her money to cook because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna just go over there and get a plate and then go home.
He's like, I found somebody to cook it. I can just do my thing and don't have to talk to nobody. 100% in. That's great.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Hassan. He also
Thanks,
says,
Hassan.
also WWE literally put me back on West Side Gun. Boom, 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 boom.
Let's go. That's what it's about. At least he could get something out of this.
Yeah. From Leroy 40 says the pacing for the women's tag tournament has been extremely poor. They should be crowning the first ever women's tag champs tonight, but we're getting a new men's championship and Continental Classic before women's tag champs are crowned. Make it make sense. Well, I think part of that is because you had the blood and guts build in the middle of there. I think if we didn't have that, we probably would have been to the finals of the tournament by now. Probably the finals of the tournament would probably be on this show if we didn't have blood and guts build as well.
Right. Yeah, they probably could have structured it a little bit different, but I think it's going to work out in the end.
Yeah. But that's also why I kind of wish they would have just put the semifinals matches on this show, or at least one of the semifinals matches here. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Our last Humper chat from friend of the show, Smiley. She says, "Afternoon, boys. Hope y'all are doing well. Just got the claws done for the holiday. Full gear should be dope. Hope I don't fall asleep. LOL. Hi, Reggie. Miss you guys."
What's up, my friend Tracy? Where you been at? How's your life? I love you and I miss you, and I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah, appreciate everybody that has sent us humper chats, super chats. Also, before I forget, appreciate everybody that has supported our YouTube channel. Less than a year old, we are already monetized, which appreciate you guys. If you are not subscribed, youtube.com/@Grapsody. I again want to continue to make like immediate reactions to pay-per-views and things. So if I'll let you guys know at least, but I kind of want to do a review before Saturday, so I'll let you guys know.
Definitely. I'm trying to go live on other things too. That's going to happen soon. I know we keep talking about it, but that's going to be a thing.
That is all of our humper chats, all of our super chats.
Yep.
This is usually where we bid you adieu. Appreciate you guys as always. We will be back next Saturday at our usual time slot. Enjoy the pay-per-view. Enjoy your holiday weekend. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Righteous Reg. We're out of here.
What's the LL thing?
The LL thing?
Remember he did this thing?
Yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Why did he start doing that?
I don't know.